I am so freaking pumped to tell you that I have resigned from my 9-to-5 normie job. What does this mean? I am going all in on CryptoPapi. Wait for my CPD Gen Studios to come out. Guys, Bored Apes, you changed my life. Guess what, boys? It's time to take the plunge. What's going on, guys? We are live at the first ever Papi-Plunge Gala. Let's go. Let's go.
This has been a long time coming, man.
My man, Plunge, how are you doing tonight?
I'm great, dude. I'm great. It's Monday. There's like NFTs selling for like $1 trillion. It's cool. Cool. It's good. It's a good day.
Dude,
I feel
so
good
much
about
for
it.
being here, man.
My
I
pleasure.
can't tell you how much I appreciate you being here. You know, I got to tell you this, bro. The biggest pickup line in my DMs is, "Hey, man, I've been watching you since I saw you on the Plunge show." Do you know that?
Oh yeah. I feel like that particular night was one of the best nights that we've had. We've been doing it now like 7 or 8 months, but holy cow, that was a blast. So yeah, I'm all about it, man.
Bro, you don't even know the impact you've had on me. Like, we get to shoot the shit from time to time as we're minting stuff, in our group and Discords and stuff. But you've introduced me to so many people that you don't even know. For example, that song that I just played in that video was actually done by Caruso's Missing Hair.
There you go.
Another guy that you introduced me to.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's working with the Wicked Cranium team. He's working with Dirty Bird Flight Club. They were on our stream last Thursday. So yeah, he's doing well, and he's got his own DJ stuff and metaverse parties, and it's a wild world. The last 6 months, 8 months has been a wild world. That's for sure.
Absolutely insane. And in many ways, that's why I wanted to bring everybody together today. As most people know, and you saw in the video, I've got 3 more sleeps till I'm done my regular 9-to-5 normie job. And this night isn't really about me. It's more about, I see this happening every single day in the NFT space. Super passionate, very successful people. I mean, I don't want to say where Caruso's Missing Hair worked, but trust me, like it's like one of those companies everybody wants to work for. And I see a lot of this, like big people in big corporations, dream jobs are literally flocking to the NFT space, not even really knowing what we're going to be doing 3 months from now. But in many ways, today is really to celebrate all of these people that, have decided to go and build in this space. And it's like super exciting.
Yeah.
And then let's add to the fact
crazy.
that we got and then we've got the Christie's event tonight. And, in many ways, this is a huge milestone for us. It's not the first time that the apes have been at Christie's. So there's a huge lot of like 34 items, some punks, some Bored Apes, some Meebits. Don't really know why they added the Meebits, but they did. And it just feels like the right time to celebrate.
Yeah. I was looking at the lots earlier, and while I can't afford 7,800,000 Hong Kong dollars, which is like 315 ETH for the cheetah print laser beam eye ape, I'm looking down the rest, and there is a Goro's silver turquoise and glass bead necklace in this lot as well that it might have my name on it. I got to tell you, if I have a couple more of these, I might throw in a bid on the Goro's silver turquoise and glass bead necklace. In real life utility, man. That's what it's all about.
Now, bro, if I'm not mistaken, I think you sold your ape at some point. Is that right?
Yeah. So the story with mine, I never had a full ape. I had a 1/10 of an ape. So I one of the people I got connected through to from Top Shot had a bunch of apes, and I was at the time like didn't have a whole lot of ETH, and we worked out a deal where I traded a LeBron James no look 3 and a Kevin Durant out of 7,500 Top Shot, which at the time were like $550. And the ape that I bought a 1/10 of was at the time 2.4 ETH, and he bought me out at when it was at like 25 ETH. So I 10x'd it, and I had 1/10 voting share, but I it was kind of on that initial crazy run up. And it was like, hey, we should, are you interested in selling this? And at the time it was like, yeah, I mean, we didn't know where things were going. And it was a less rare one than he had. So he wanted to sort of keep some of the other ones that he had going. So anyway, long story short, I got priced out pretty quickly, but it's been fun to watch and engage. And you see everybody on Twitter and everything too. So it's certainly an interesting community. I have a lot of thoughts on Bored Apes. We'll get into that at another date. This is a date of celebration, but I have a lot of interesting questions about what the future looks like, and PFP projects in general, and what it means for the NFT space to be first. But what is first, and what all of those different interesting questions. But we got a lot of different folks coming on to talk about different projects tonight too, which is great. You set up like a killer lineup. It was funny, we were on the Twitter DM, like, holy cow, I didn't realize that you had stacked so many people. It's awesome.
Yeah, man, I don't know how we're gonna get through all these people, but and in fact, I didn't intend it to be all apes. Like, for me, tonight is a celebration about everything and NFTs and all the success that we've all had in sort of this bull market over the last 6 months. For those of us that have been here 6 months, but even people that are getting here, even just very recently, are having a lot of success. Like, in many ways, this is still a very vibrant environment. And last night I couldn't sleep because I saw Twitter just kind of change. It had been a little bit dull for a couple of weeks, and you can just feel it. You can feel the temperature, right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's sort of interesting because it doesn't seem to follow necessarily like ETH price action. Like, there's some corrections and stuff, but it's not like, oh, ETH's pumping and then NFTs take off. It was sort of every time, there's a really heavy push for a couple things. It seems to be that there's a cascading effect of like a single project or two that catch the right lightning in a bottle on a given night. And it might be, a handful of people that are buying a lot of those things, and then everything just kind of flows. And maybe it's the end of the month, and people are got paid last Friday or something. Like, I don't know what it is, but yeah, the Cool Cats run yesterday and over the weekend, and some of the other stuff that followed behind, Dead Fellas, and Lazy Lions is up at 2. I mean, there's a bunch of different NFT projects right now that are just racing. They're just racing, and it's great. It's cool to see. And for there to be sort of like a rising tide lifts all boats concept, which is cool. It's fun to be around. You can't be in all of them, so hopefully they rub off on each other.
Yeah, you're in Cool Cats, aren't you?
Yeah. So the story with that one goes, they were on my stream the night of their mint. So I got in, like, I was, one of the first 400 or 500 people when they had lowered their mint price, because they were supposed to be 0.06 and they weren't going after a few hours. And I think it was Cole. I think Cole went in there and was like, hey, like 0.06 is kind of expensive right now. Maybe you should mint it at 0.02. And so they switched it up, and everybody minted at 0.02, and I minted 3. And I flipped one of them for like 0.1 right around like a week or two later. I gave one to Alan from Dapper, from Top Shot, because he was into cats when they were like less than 0.1. It's his PFP now. And then the third one that I had, I listed it like, I had a relatively rare one, and I listed it at 0.69 as a joke. And I was on Overzet's stream on Club Top Shot, like in, middle of July, and the floor rose 0.5 from like, and just gobbled my thing up. But I ended up trading someone for the one that I had for a while, and just sold it at 10.6, bought a floor cat immediately for 675. So I have one still. But the PFP that I had for a while. So I basically like cleared 3.5 or 4 ETH on a ratchet down. So I had like a rarer one, and I sold that.
Yep.
Bought the floor out of the liquidity pool. Which is really interesting. I checked the liquidity pool today, and when I bought mine, there were 52 cats in the pool. There are only 25 cats in the liquidity pool right now. everybody wants the
Wow.
cats. So really interesting
Well,
stuff.
yeah, bro. Congrats to you, man. That's one project that I only had one of and sold. Actually, didn't even mint. Sold, bought at
Yeah.
0.4, sold at 0.6, and never got back in. We can't win them all, guys. That's the thing about
No,
this space. You can't win them
sell an
all.
ape
You
and get a
you
couple
don't really
cats.
want to look back.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
some
been
a
fun.
lot of times it's not really what you sold for or what you didn't sell for, but what did you do with your profits? And
Yeah,
we're because most of us
or
are
losses.
sort of taking those profits. Hey, if you need them for real life, look, then obviously nobody's gonna critique you for that. But if you sold for profits and you go mint something else, like who knows? I can't even remember what I did with those. Someone asked me today, don't you feel bad that you sold for that early? I'm like, dude, no, because I could have bought an ape with that. I have no idea. Maybe I did.
Yeah, it's crazy. Can't think twice for sure.
So guys, we got a jam packed episode tonight, and we got lots of giveaways. All right, and so the way that we're doing some of these giveaways is we had some projects actually come and sponsor some sections of the show. So the first sponsor for the show is going to be Rukru. Now, if you haven't heard of Rukru, they're available for minting now. And if you haven't heard of them, then you don't follow me on my YouTube channel because I actually launched the project with them on the channel. So feel free to go back and watch that. And if you want to mint some Rukru's, you'll see that right down there, Rukru.io. They will give the first giveaway. So we'll give a Rukru at the end of sort of this section when we get our first guest, who is going to come up probably in a few minutes.
Awesome.
All right.
The ruse,
So
man. We love the ruse.
people are asking about gutter cats. What are your thoughts on gutter cats? Any and is that a project you've been in at all?
I have not. And I'm not ashamed to admit that I don't know anything about it. And other than
Yeah.
there's a couple people that are super into it, and they like really identify with the art and the community. The only thing I know about gutter cats is relative to other PFP projects is like very low mint size. Like there's 3,000 instead of 10,000. So built-in scarcity relative to some other things. So on the surface, if you look at, gutter cats as compared to cool cats in terms of market cap or something like that, it's really easy just to compare nominal ETH value, but you also have to realize that there's 3 times as few gutter cats to correspond to that. So, but yeah, it's one that I don't know if I missed out on. I think I actively chose not to get into it just because I didn't have the ETH at the time. And I at the time thought there wasn't going to be enough to go around when it came to like repeat subject matter, like multiple cat projects. Like at the time I wasn't really in like, oh, hey, there's enough room for 4 different cat projects to work. But I think what's played out over the last few months, it's shown me, at least with cats and in some other cases too, like there's space. There's place for, not that there's other ape projects necessarily, but there are a lot of different people that would like many of them, and as long as the teams that are working on them are doing different things that differentiate them from one another, a lot of times the art isn't really all that important, right? The token itself, the art that represents the token is one thing, but like the token is your entry pass into the community, right? And or entry pass in your like ownership of a portion of the project. Perlini's is a great, Penelope is a super great example with that, where it's like, I don't really care that there's like plunger cats. That's cool, but the art is it's irrelevant to me in the grand scheme of things, because it's like just having one is a token that grants me other things and affords me accessibility to the pieces of the project that I find valuable. So there's space, but yeah, gutter cats I missed out on, or I chose not to, or whatever, but don't know a whole hell of a
Yeah.
lot about it.
Yeah, you know what? I think gutter cats for me represents it actually taught me a lot because it was still gutter cats came out pretty early. Actually, it was really the next PFP after the apes, very early on. And it taught me to ignore the FUD and buy the dip. That is literally the first project where there was so much FUD that I didn't buy it. I was like, yeah, you know what? Yeah, there was FUD about the token that they were using. There was FUD about how the actually drop went and the gas wars. I actually tried to mint and lost a ton of uh, gas on it, and and then it started to pick up and it started to do well and it built this amazing community. And what I learned from that is that, you know, just ignore all that FUD. It's not that different from crypto.
Yeah.
It's like somebody says they're gonna ban crypto in China. Okay, cool. Ignore the FUD. Buy the dip. By the way, none of this is financial
Yeah.
advice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Not that
But it did
anybody
teach me
needed
that.
that
I'm
disclaimer,
telling you
but
what
yeah.
it taught me.
Yeah.
And the next project where there was a ton of FUD, where it was basically getting dumped, I bought the dip. And that became part of my trading strategy, is buy the dump on anything that looks half decent. Because generally speaking, many of those will have at least one leg up. It doesn't mean, you know, they're going to turn into cool cats.
Yeah. And so I have sort of an interesting thought process with most of this stuff, is that like, I know that the vast majority, I just know it in my bones, that the vast majority of this stuff is just going to be not going to be here in like a year. And that's okay. Like, because, and I think a big part of that is not necessarily the people buying it that are going to stop paying attention. It's that the teams that are building these projects that are sort of that flounder or will, you know, lose attention span. Generally speaking, these people on these projects are pretty smart and they're like able to put things together. And, you know, it's not financially viable for them to stay and chain themselves to a sinking ship, right? Like, and that's what you need to be aware of with all of this stuff, is that like, if the team's still active and engaged and they're still pushing and they're still doing all of those things, and there happens to be price correction and FUD and all those other things that are external market forces, yes. But like, if the if the team starts to lose steam, then, you know, don't buy the dip. Like, that's my non-financial advice.
Yeah, don't buy ETHlings, guys.
Yeah.
And
So anyway,
it's interesting because we are actually at that phase, I think, in this cycle where there are teams that are giving up. You know, like you're saying, you know, maybe they'll go build something else, but they feel like they've given their shot at building a community. It hasn't worked. They might go try something different, or they might not. You know, whatever they choose to do, it kind of sucks that they're walking away from projects. And I only think that the community can only turn around so many projects. So we've seen the Fame Lady story, we've seen the Appymon story, you know, and
forgot about that one.
there's only so much that a community can save. And at some point, some of these will absolutely go to zero. And like Plunge is saying, I have no clue where we're going to be a year from now. And what I always tell privately to all my friends and anybody that asks me about NFTs and trading is my analogy is, I literally trade like I'm a concert ticket scalper.
Mm-hmm.
And I basically,
you're never going to go to the concert.
I'm never going to the concert. Never going to the concert. I don't plan to go to the concert. Very few projects are actually going to hold a concert. Most projects don't even have a venue secured. So that's how I treat things. Now, I've got you know, over 750 NFTs, 800 NFTs. So I do keep a lot, but I always try to make sure that I'm in profit, and then I decide from there how much I'm going to keep.
Yeah.
Except for check-ins. And that brings me to, oh wait, actually, before we bring our first guest on, I saw this comment, and dude, this is me and you right here.
We'll talk about that later.
Two guys on the planet that
we'll
can't
talk about,
understand
let's talk about
why
qubits
nobody's
later.
buying qubits.
We'll talk about them later. I'll get my pump in.
I don't even understand that. We'll talk about it later. All right, guys. First man up on this show is one of the first apes that I got introduced to. We were talking, you know, one of the things that impressed me about him is this guy right away jumped right into the space, full time, hustling, grinding, building a business. And you know what? It inspired me. It inspired me from day one. I used to say, man, I want to be like this guy. He's in the space full time and he's doing it. So I wanted him to come on this show and have a little chat with him, because I haven't talked to him since he was on my show and we were talking about the chickens. So everybody, welcome Benjamin.
Hey, what's up, Papi? What's up, Plunge? Thanks for having me, guys.
Hello, hello.
Bro, what's up, man? It's been a while. It's good to see you. What have you been up to?
A whole lot, man. Just, living my best life, grinding, putting in work every day, and just, building a better life for myself and my family and my community.
Dude, I saw that. One of the vivid memories I have of you recently on Twitter was that video that you put out with your dogs running in a backyard. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the story is that you lived in a condo, NFTs kind of helped change your life, and you're out of a condo and you're in a place where your dogs can run. Is that right?
Yeah, man. So, we were living in a 1-bedroom apartment. And it's not like we were struggling for food or anything, but it definitely wasn't convenient to, have my office in my living room with 2 puppies running around. So essentially what happened is we were able to, make enough money together that we can afford to move into a house and have a backyard with puppies and just, have a better state of mind, really. And because when you're that compact, for me, I kind of took the plunge and, no pun intended, but getting out ahead of myself and, making sure that my mind was right so I could be able to work more and grind harder. So that's really what happened. And it's been a great story ever since.
Nice, man. So where you tell me, I actually don't know your story of like getting into NFTs. You were in NFTs before I was, so you were already kind of well known in the space.
Yeah, so I got into NFTs in 2017 with CryptoKitties, and at the time I didn't even really know the power of the NFT. I just I was buying and selling Ethereum and Bitcoin, and I found this game and I thought it was cool, and I started playing it. I used to do Neopets when I was younger, so it kind of reminded me of that. And I bought and sold those, I bred them, and then I kind of forgot about it for a couple years. And then once Top Shot came along in 2021, and I read Jonathan Bale's infamous post about Top Shot, and that brought me in. And since then, it's been, I went to Zed Run and I traded some Zed horses for some Bored Apes. And then, my life changed after that. So it's been quite a ride.
You traded some horses for apes? Did you mint any apes?
Yeah, I minted one.
Okay.
Johnny Altcoin, I call him. He's my profile picture. He's my never sell ape. And then I bought and sold and traded all the way up. But then I had Zed horses, and I traded 3 Zed horses for 2 Bored Apes when apes were like 0.15, 0.2 or so.
Damn,
Pretty good.
Now look, I love Zed, and I think it's a great project, but I know that there's no way that any horse you traded away would have gained more than those apes. So you're probably made out pretty good there.
Yeah, for sure. And at the time, the horses were worth less than the apes. Sorry, they were worth more. So I was betting on the apes. And what ended up happening is I had 20 or so horses left. So for me, it wasn't really that much of a deal, much of a big deal to kind of trade these 3 for those 2. I wanted to get exposure to another project. And so I ended up still having another 20 horses, and, I was able to sell some of those off over time to liquidate stuff. And I think I still have like 10 or 15 of those. And then I have 4 Bored Apes left.
Actually, I was watching the Packers and the Niners last night at my neighbor's house, and they're all like 60s. And the one next to us has a horse ranch, and I was trying to explain NFTs to them, and I was like, I sold a cool cat for 10 Ethereum yesterday. They're like, wait, what? Like, what's Ethereum? I was like,
right.
Well, let's get into this. And I was like, you can buy horses, and they were like, you can buy horses. And I was like, all right. And all I did was I pulled up the color palette and I said, pick a color. And so they picked a color. And then I went on OpenSea, and I found the cheapest for sale horse on that color. And I bought one for each of them, and we named them. They're like the unnamed ones.
Nice.
We named them, and we're going to race them. And I'm just going to like run a stable of like my neighborhood. So it's
a great intro, man. It's a good way to get people involved. And the same thing with Top Shot. Like if you give them something to do or something to watch, it just makes it a lot easier to transition.
It's a lot. Yeah, I think, hashtag utility, right? Like, there's a lot of
Well-
shit that doesn't have any utility, and that's okay. But it's really difficult to explain why why a picture is worth a lot. It's a lot easier to say, or at least, I think, to be able to explain, hey, this thing that you own can do things, and it allows you to play in the game, or it does, it does more than just sit there and look different.
I
So,
feel you,
anyway.
man. I never was able to value art before any of this, and so I guess art really isn't supposed to have utility except for what the art is, and art means a lot of different things to different people, and so a lot of blockchain and NFTs is about the ownership, and so if you're getting the ownership and having the not just a social contract but an actual physical contract that proves your ownership, I think that's where a lot of the value lies in that. You're invested in the artist and your name is attached to whatever you own. You can't lose the deed of the house, because it's on the blockchain. I think that's really what's most important.
Bro, well, I don't. So the utility question is interesting because what you're telling me is that you had something that held utility that you could play a game with, and you traded it away for. Sure, now obviously we know what profile pictures are, and Steph Curry has an ape, and whatever. But back then,
And Shaq has a creature.
That's right. And Shaq has a creature. Like,
he is a creature.
We all get that now. It's easy
Right.
to explain it. In fact, that's how I explain it now. Oh, well, Steph Curry bought an ape. That's it. But what went through your mind giving away Zed horses?
I guess it was about like what I saw happening with the project itself. So the first night I minted one, and I was like, I don't really have a lot of ETH on me. I'm not liquidated, so I might sell a horse in the morning to buy a couple more of them. Just because, again, I wanted exposure to this project that looked great. First one that I see, no FOMO ramp, 100% commercialization rights. You get membership only perks and all this stuff. And so I was like, wow, this is pretty new and interesting. I know the CryptoPunks, you have to like ask permission after $100,000 earned in revenue per year or something like that. So I was like, wow, I get full rights and all of that and membership only perks. And it looks like there's a lot of people buying. So I was going to sell horses the next day to just liquidate a little bit since I had 20, 25 at that time. And then the next day they were all gone. So I was like, oh man, like I wanted to sell these horses for that. Now, like I might as well just try and, see if I could trade them for them. And so I end up being able to trade 1 for 1. And then I took the other two were like two bred horses. And so I traded 2 for 1 ape. And then I ended up buying and selling a lot of the apes. But the last one I purchased was, I think, 0.7. And then I haven't bought one since then.
Nice, man. Well, good for you, bro. Now you've got your hands on, obviously you're clearly a good trader, but you got your hands in a lot of different things. Why don't you tell us kind of, I've got the Dizzy Dragons up right now because I know you're part of the team, but tell us what everything you got going on right now. And dude, I actually don't know much about the Dizzy Dragons myself.
Oh man, well that's on me then. That's my responsibility to have told you. But yeah, man, Dizzy Dragons is the only project that I'm actually a co-founder of with one of my best friends in real life, Rob Levy. He's the artist. He's co-founder with me. And we created this project of 7,500 pixelated dragons that have a fusing feature that you can keep the traits you want or randomize the rest. And then it burns the previous 2 dragons, creates a whole new token, and comes up with a fusion dragon, which we introduce like a whole bunch of new skins and traits and everything that you can only get through fusing. And each time you do it, it reduces the supply by 1. So people are having a lot of fun with it. The project's actually been pumping all day. We were just trending on OpenSea. So picking up a lot of steam, and it's just been a lot of fun, to run it and build a community. And then outside of that, I just advise and consult a lot of other projects, help them build their communities and run their Discords and show them how to do drops and stuff like that. And, I run the Dizzy Dragons. I help other projects, and I just, buy and sell NFTs for a living.
Damn, man. I didn't know. I had no idea that you're actually part of the project. I still look at you as the chicken man. You're the guy that introduced me to the chickens, and
yeah,
I'm sure you've seen that I bought a
you
few
love
chickens.
You love them, man. We love the chickens. Chickens are fun, and that's another one. Like that's a ton of utility. whether you like the art or not, it's something that's fun, it's gamified, and there's something to do.
So I'm not in on the chickens. It's gamified theoretically in the future, right? Like it's not live yet.
They have a game releasing soon. Yeah,
Okay.
they already have like the beta channels, the private channels that you can join, and if you look at the actual videos, you see like the game that it's going to be.
Will look like.
Yeah, but I mean, they built a game called Ganja Farmer that had like 7 million downloads, and it was running for 6 or 7 years or something like that. So they have a lot of experience doing it. And that's actually, I came on to CryptoPapi's show to promote that because I was helping them facilitate their drop, and he fell in love with it. And now he's been more active in the chicken derby than I have. It's been hysterical, but I love it. And yeah, man, it's just been a fun ride. I've helped with a lot of projects, and I got more coming up. And I just recently joined with House Akiba and Cryptoys. So House Akiba, I'm going to be, helping with their drop, and Cryptoys as a company, they're really building something that's cool. So those are two of the newer ones that I've joined with.
Nice, man. Well, dude, congratulations on your massive success, man. Like I said, you're still one of those early apes that I met that I kind of look up to, and I see you doing a lot of things in this space, and you've been a role model for people like me that just need to go in this goddamn space full time.
Thanks, man. And listen, it's not about like, idolization or wanting to make a lot of money. Like I came into this about, the technology and the ownership, and the conviction really is what led to the financial stability. And so a lot of people who want to, jump into this full time thinking they could just buy and sell, like a lot of my biggest trades were things that I waited months and months to do. And so I researched a lot of things, even Top Shot. It took me a couple weeks of research just to even jump into it. And that was in January. So a lot of people jump in and they think that they can just buy and sell something, flip 30K in one day. And like, you can, but you have to build up capital. You have to understand leverage. You have to, know how volume works and sentiment. And there's a lot that you need to understand. And so people who are just jumping in, I would say just be wary and careful. Just because you see other people able to do it doesn't mean that you can just jump in and quit your job. So be very careful. There's a lot of people teaching. There's a lot to learn. But if you're not spending the time educating yourself and learning from others, you're not living up to your full potential in this space.
Yeah, you definitely got that brand that we know you're the guy that does his homework. You're not the one that we follow, with FOMO blindly. I love that. Hey, so you're gonna give something away, is that right? Let's we'll leave the rumor for later. But what is it that you want to give away to our audience here?
Yeah, so I'm going to give away a Dizzy Dragon for you guys. So this is going to be a fused Dizzy Dragon, and this is number 7518. And so I'm not sure how you guys are running the giveaways, but however you're going to do it, this is the one right here. So
what we're going to do is we're going to ask everybody right now to type the keyword dragon. Smash that keyboard, type the keyword dragon, and we will roll it. This is my first time using this. Plunge let me on to this.
And you gotta subscribe to the stream and like the video too.
Subscribe and like, guys. You gotta
subscribe and like. Smash that subscribe and smash that like button.
There we go. We see all those dragons rolling, and
I entered, by the way. I might win this. I'm feeling lucky. I'm feeling lucky.
Clearly, I feel left out. I need a dragon for sure. By the way, these are sold out, right, Benj?
We sold out in August, and so we had a month before the Fusion utility. We had a month of the Fusion utility, and we just announced today that holding a Fusion Dragon, whether it's 1 or 20, you're going to get a free claim to our next collection that's coming out. And so for every fused dragon that you own, you're going to get a free claim to it.
Nice.
And that's
all right. Well, I think that's plenty of time for everybody to get in. We're going to roll it and try this out. Hey, look at that. CJ Butterman. Yeah, it did announce that. I know CJ do you know CJ, Ben?
CJ Butterman. No.
Well, if you don't know him, you got to go follow him right now because he puts out chicken derby content every single day. He tells us where the floors are at, and he's the statistics guy for chicken derby.
All right, let's get him DMing me on the Dizzy Dragon account would probably be easiest.
Yeah, my rule with the giveaways on Twitch when I do my stream Is it is your, if you win, it is your responsibility to reach out to me. I'm not chasing you down. So I think, yeah, you gotta CJ Butterman, hit up the Dizzy Dragons Twitter.
Yeah, CJ, I'll be waiting for you. You have a time that you have to reach out before it expires. So if you get it to me within the next couple days, we're good. After that, it's gonna get buried.
He's active. He's active. Don't worry. He's all over the place. I see him a lot.
Cool.
Good for you, CJ. All right, Ben, man. Thanks for stopping by, bro. I can't wait to see what else you got coming in the near future. And I can't wait to get on that racetrack with you on Chicken Derby.
Oh, absolutely, man. I have a bunch of them myself still, so it's been a pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it. Can't wait to watch the rest of the stream. Probably gonna fall asleep in my chair. This is a little late for me, but love you guys. Have a good night.
Ben had to go first because he turns into a pumpkin at 10:30.
Man, I'm already falling asleep, half asleep in here. So I appreciate you guys. Bless up. Appreciate you having me in, and subscribe and like.
All right, brother. Peace, man. Check it. All right, guys. This next ape, listen, I only started recently seeing this ape showing up on my feed. And this ape, I don't mean this person. I mean this ape is literally taking not just Twitter by storm, but he's literally legitimizing what the apes are doing and what you can do with this brand. And so I am so pumped and excited to bring to you, I'm meeting him for the first time, Jenkins, the valet. Jenkins, my man, welcome.
Thank you so much. Wow, I mean, what a kind introduction. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. Thanks for having me.
Bro, I am so pumped to have you here. I mean, dude, I'm so intrigued. So you got to tell us, because you've been making a splash all over Twitter. And I need to know, tell us this story about. I know you landed a deal, but I want to hear it all in your words.
Yeah, for sure. I think, but before anything, I need to give a shout out to Ben Jammin. I mean, he is like a true OG. It's an honor to follow him on the stream. So that's great. And I see that I sort of messed up with the background I sent you. We're just completely covering it, but there's a little Jenkins avatar back there. If anyone can sort of sneak between the yeah, there we go. That's a good one.
I'm trying to get you. I'm trying to highlight you and not me.
No worries.
You can drag him into the. So like if you go back to that and then just grab his screen.
Yeah, look at that. Yeah. Nice.
I thought. Yeah, I thought I don't know. I thought that shouting out the like OpenSea page might be a good background, but I learned a little something. I'm always learning from Ben. So next time I'm going to give you guys something like the Dizzy Dragons. Yeah, I mean, I guess the news of the week is that I've signed with CAA for representation across books, TV, film, podcasts, and more, which is crazy. And I know it's crazy, and it's just one of those like 2021 kind of things, I guess. Like what the hell? Like there's a JPEG monkey that just signed with a talent agency, but it's obviously a lot of fun and something that we're super proud of. And my partner Safa and I have been working on it for a really long time. And so, we're super excited because we've believed for a really long time that there are a ton of avatars, but there aren't many characters, and that investing in character development is something that could be good for the whole space. And so to see that a major talent agency also believes that and believes in the way we're telling our stories is it's an honor. It's like a pinch me kind of moment. And we hope that it's one of just many that exist going forward, because the NFT space is obviously super special, and I certainly believe that mainstream media could benefit a ton by having the sort of our collective community's vibes just like extended further. So we're really proud and excited for the opportunity that's ahead of us.
Now, the only thing I knew about CAA is that it's the thing that picks me up when my truck is broken on the side of the highway. So for those of us, right, that aren't actually in this space,
Yeah,
what is CA? How big are these guys? Where do they come from?
for sure. Well, first of all, I've been dying because I have seen that like, what is it, the Canadian Automobile Association or something keeps they get tagged like 100 times a day on our Twitter. So whoever like runs social for
That's all we
them,
know. Canadians
yeah,
just know we get
brutal.
picked up by the CA.
totally. Well, CryptoPapi, I'm a relatively new Canadian, by the way. Yeah, my wife is from Toronto, so we just have been in the process of moving, which is there's many Canadians in the NFT space.
Yes, there
Um,
is. Yes, there is.
yeah, so CAA is the one that we're talking about is Creative Artists Agency, which is one of the biggest talent agencies in the world. I actually think maybe they just announced a big acquisition or like a merger with another one of the major talent agencies earlier this morning. And so if they weren't the biggest before, they may be the biggest now. And it's a super diverse agency. I mean, they represent authors, musicians, actors, directors, athletes, like all sorts of people. And obviously there's a really long roster, but some of the names that folks know are like Beyonce, Justin Bieber, J.J. Abrams, and we're like, we couldn't be more honored to be a part of that group. And our primary focus is with their literary group. Because obviously the first thing we're doing in the Jenkins Valley Writers Room is writing a book featuring Bored Apes, and I can talk a bit more about that. But it mattered a lot to us to have representation across sort of other media too, because we have aspirations to eventually move into TV or film, like, animated things like that, or podcasts as well. So our goal with the writers room is basically to create like a crowdsourced distributed media company where people who hold our NFT can exercise or voting power on like the creative direction of what we produce. And we also want to license avatars from people back to the project so that we can basically flex like the importance of owning your IP with NFTs on the Ethereum blockchain.
This is mind blowing. This is like everything that I try to describe to friends about the potential of profile pictures and owning your IP and license rights months ago. And I honestly don't think I would have guessed that somebody would be doing this soon. You're paving the way for not just apes, but for NFTs in general that follow this model, and making this a reality for a lot of people. That's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, I mean, thank you. It's tough for sure. I mean, I think Saf and I both have realized over the last couple months that we're probably more like a legal startup than anything else. Like, I think we spend more time working on like licensing agreements and vetting them with our lawyers and with other people like than pretty much anything else. And we come from sort of content and software and marketing backgrounds. And so the legal thing has definitely been like new, but we've like aped hard into that. We're working with folks across entertainment law, IP, copyright, stuff like that. But it's been eye-opening for sure. CAA has helped us immensely. Like, you just start to see the landscape of like sort of traditional producers and I guess like media companies like that. Like, everything is about having licensing shored up so that people feel confident doing the work to produce. Like, it takes a lot of time and money to make content. And so I definitely think like where we hope to pave the way for sure is in locking down the licenses and the agreements that need to be in place to let somebody sort of transcend from a profile picture to like a thing that actually can be like made into something that could hit like a book or a TV screen or a movie screen.
So I'm sort of curious, and I've been wrestling with IP and sort of the decentralized IP side of things over the last month or two. Like, for like a small community, relatively speaking. There's what, 5,000 owners of apes, and then if you add mutant apes on top of that, unique owners, you have what, maybe 15, or it was like 12? I forget the number. So you have like people that are like financially invested in the community, and in theory, a portion of those people are invested in the lore or the development of like characterizations of the manifestations of that community.
For
but
sure.
Like, I'm super curious how you think about, how does this apply to my neighbor across the street, like, who probably doesn't care.
Yeah.
And like, or probably, actually it's probably me, right? Like, I'm in NFTs. I don't have an ape anymore. I recognize like how cool and culturally significant they are, and like obviously how valuable and rare they are, but like I don't have a piece of the pie anymore. And so
Totally.
like, is it something that you're looking at it from an audience perspective of like, here's our 10,000, 15,000 people, this is our niche, we're comfortable being there? Or are you really looking at it like this is something that could be much, much bigger than that?
Yeah, great question. I think I think about sort of every piece of it, and we try to think about ways we can appeal to like every group. For the, like, if we focus on your neighbor first, and it's funny because it's like sort of the way that I describe Jenkins to like, my parents, for example, who just like aren't interested at all in like NFTs, and wouldn't even like really know like what NFT stands for example. It's like, I'm not sure actually that whether like the apes exist on the blockchain or not matters to a lot of people, but that's okay, because there's always room for a new character. And if you found out that there was some, in a book, we started, like, my sort of background was in writing fiction before I moved into software, and so we sort of started as writing this kind of stuff. But let's use like, a series on Cartoon Network as like an example instead, because I think it's like an easier thing. It makes more sense for like an animated character. But if you found out that there was some series that featured like a bunch of apes, one was like a resourceful yacht valet, one was a retired astronaut, all that kind of stuff, and they were like doing weird stuff, and it was funny or something, like that could have sort of more mainstream appeal, whether it existed on the blockchain or not. And then what we think is so special about the fact that these characters are NFTs is just that they can be verifiably owned by individuals, and it lets like a regular old person like me or anybody else all of a sudden have like participation in this like really interesting industry that would have previously sort of been like not accessible by us. And so that's sort of the way I think about it in the mainstream side of things. But on the NFT side, I mean, I like couldn't be more bullish on the space. I think obviously there's a challenging like user experience problem to get people into the space, getting dollars into ETH and setting up your wallet. And
It's fucking awful, man.
It's terrible.
It's atrocious. It's so bad.
Exactly.
It's so bad.
100%. And I sort of trust that that's going to get better over time. I wish there were like more hours in the day, because like I have some ideas for things that could be better, but obviously it's like not our focus right now.
I thought I had a brilliant idea the other day, where you create like MetaMask / ETH gift cards that you sell at like Walgreens, where you can like, and you put them in birthday cards and stuff. It already exists.
Ooh,
I didn't know this. There's like it's a little bit more complicated than my thought process, but like there's a company, I forget the name of it, it's like Gift Coin or something like that. But,
yeah, cool.
The idea that you can like essentially step by step guide someone and like preload a card with ETH on that, like that would create their MetaMask or something like that.
Yeah.
So anyway, I thought I had a brilliant invention, but it's already been made. That's the third time like that's happened in my life in NFTs.
Yeah, my brother claims that he like invented Facebook. But this, someone beat him there. But anyway, I feel like I know those moments where you're like, it's like a light bulb, and then the light bulb just like gets like a little dimmer when you see it. You're like, oh damn. so despite the UX challenge, I think I believe wholeheartedly that there are going to be way more people that end up sort of like daily active users in the space. And even like, the stuff that like Benjamin was just talking about with Dizzy Dragons and with the forging and combining traits and sort of like customizing your avatar and new skins and things like that. Like that, I think is really interesting on the blockchain and in the NFT space. And so I'm also like, I'm equally as bullish on the opportunity to do like really fun new stuff with like media publishing, simply like with NFTs and with the existing Web3 technology that exists. And so I think like, I mean, truthfully, and our community knows this a bit, like we're going to attack it in both directions. We're going to publish content that is like native to the space and also try to go for a more mainstream kind of thing that maybe doesn't like ignore the fact that these are NFTs, but just like doesn't own it as hard, because I think it's just like good for the space generally if an NFT character can go mainstream, even if like the point isn't that it's an NFT.
Yeah, I hear you, and I think that's we had Claude Von Stroke on our stream on Thursday. He's a music producer, and they're working on a project called Dirty Bird Flight Club. And I was making an argument at the time, right before he got on, about like people that think that the apes are going to be the next big like IP and the animated series and the like it's going to take over Disney and all this shit, I think are delusional, because it's way more cost effective for Disney to create and like harness their own creative entities to create characters and then NFTify them. Like it doesn't make, in my opinion, much sense at all for a big media company to acquire the rights to a very small like niche thing, unless it had like very significant cultural staying power and or the character and development was like really next level and novel to the point where it would beat or like exceed their capability to do that in-house or outsource it. So anyway, long story short, he basically then said, which was a really very like a good point, it doesn't have to be Bluey, it doesn't have to be Trash Trucker, like any of these other like cartoon characters, right? It doesn't have to be Mickey Mouse. It can be the niche thing, and it can live in internet meme culture, and it can live in the NFT space and still be really successful and still have like the community aspect and the community support and all those things. And it sort of like reframed my view on it a little bit. So it like sort of, it's okay that it's a niche thing, even if the aspirational view is bigger than that.
Totally. Yeah. And I mean, I think it's a great point. And like, by the way, like, right, like all of us are just like none of this has ever been done before. And like, even the like premise of like us being here talking tonight is just like, it's awesome. But it's really new. And so, I think we're all just like trying our best, and we'll see what happens. I definitely agree with that point, and I see where you're coming from. I mean, I would say that like Jenkins the Valet signing with CAA is like a signal that CAA is interested in the NFT niche. More like, I don't think that CAA is immediately like, let's take this thing that's an NFT and pull it out to what we know. It's just as much being like, oh, this niche could continue to attract more people, and being having exposure to the space is a good thing. And so in that regard, I like completely agree with your point.
Right. And obviously like apes are the biggest community, like the most valuable and fourth, like not the what the word I'm looking for. It's like in the presence, like everybody in the NFT space knows of apes, right?
For
Even
sure.
if you can't afford one or own one. And there is lots of conversation and like things happening as compared to punks, which like, yes, there's some of it with Punk's comic and other things, but like generally speaking, like that's not what punks are about, right? Because they're historic, they're like an artifact, right? At least that's how I view them. Carlene had an awesome thread about this today or yesterday, where he's basically like, stop saying punks are 1, apes are 2, cats are 3. Punks are not in this. It's apples and elephants, right? Like,
yeah, for sure.
They're not the same thing. Like, apes is number 1, right? In terms of PFP projects right now. Cool Cats is number 2, or, pick your poison in terms of the, 3, 4, 5 Kongs are up there, right? But punks are different. Like, they are an artifact. They are a piece of history. The apes have more to do, and there's very likely to be, the biggest PFP project of all time it hasn't been created yet, right?
Yes,
like
agreed.
it's not there yet.
Right.
And yes, it's cool now, and yes, the price action is awesome, and yes, the team is doing interesting things like airdrops and so forth, and kind of developing forward and at least galvanizing the community. But there is a lot more to it than that. And it's okay that, like, as you're thinking and as we're thinking about this, that like this can morph and shift and change. And like, it's interesting. I think, CAA Jenkins de Valle, like, that's wonderful, but it sounds like if I'm gathering, you're a fantastic writer, and you and your partner are great at story building and character building. And it's not a thing that, like, Jenkins is the only thing that's ever going to be created by the group of you. Like, there's going to be other things, I imagine, that, the focus is here now because you have lore and you have a community and you have a story, and there's concept there. But this is not this could only be within the apes. There's lots of different avenues that this could extend.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, to that point, like, a couple things. So Jenkins, the parent company that owns Jenkins is Tally Labs, and Safa and I work together sort of in the NFT space, and absolutely, our focus is 100% on Jenkins and the writer's room, but we have plans to build other things, and I think, everybody does. And hopefully we all keep building great stuff, because it's what, like, can power the community. Within the writer's room itself, the first book that we're writing features apes and mutants because Jenkins comes from BAYC, but our intention is to expand to, like, many other avatars. And so, like, 100%, it's not just about apes. And to your point about, like, apes being 1 and having, like, paved so much of the way, but, like, that the best profile picture project ever hasn't come yet. Like, I agree. And I think, like, sometimes the way I think about it is, like, the next Pokemon could be NFTs. And when we're all in the space, like, all the time, we're like, the next Pokemon will be NFTs, because, like, we're believers. Like, we wouldn't be here if we weren't believers. But probably the way that it's, like, true is that they could be. I certainly hope that they are. And we're just trying our best in the writer's room to try to, push a little piece forward and say, hey, look, cool stuff can come out of this NFT space. And there's some interesting mechanics that exist if you do something through NFTs rather than through, like, any other sort of, like, innovation, because individual holders get to participate in a way that they typically don't get to. We certainly we hope that matters over time. Like, it just would be more fun. Yeah,
I agree.
Dude, Jenkins, we appreciate the trailblazing you're doing for us. You're definitely breaking new ground. I can't even imagine what your lawyers are thinking through right now, because, for lawyers, this has, like, the most anxiety is not knowing, is not having precedent, and you're helping to create that precedent for us. Dude, man, thank you so much for stopping by. I know that you're going to give away. Tell us what you're going to give away. By the way, I don't know if you know, but Canadians have a thing, right? Like, if you're good at something and you basically step foot into Canada, we claim you as being Canadian. So, Jenkins, you are now formally announced as being Canadian.
Thank you. Yeah, you need to tell immigration that.
All right, bro.
Thanks,
So
yeah.
I know you want to give something away, right? What was that you wanted to give away?
Yeah, I want to give away a valet ticket, which is one of our tiers into the writer's room. If you hold a valet ticket, you can license an avatar to us to be in the work that we produce. You can exercise 5 votes on the creative direction of basically every proposal that comes forward for what we should write. And there are a bunch of other perks that either exist today or will be coming out for our, our roadmap 2.0 that we announce in the next couple months. So basically, we hope to welcome, one more member into the writers' room with this giveaway.
All right, we're about to do it, guys. Smash the word valet, VALET, into the comments right now, and we are going to roll this giveaway. By the way, I think the value of this is at like 0.3 ETH, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, 0.3.
Damn. All right, roll that valet, and we are gonna roll it in a second. And then, guys, we're running so behind. That conversation was so intriguing. We already got our next 2 up backstage, so we'll see what we do. I mean, both these guys as well. And we'll get creative here and make sure that they get to spend some time up here. And wow, we're still hitting the valets. Well,
And
bro,
Poppy,
listen, man.
I think we're
Like
celebrating your going full time into the space. Is that right?
Dude, yeah, 3 more sleeps, man. I'm just counting down the sleeps.
I love it. Congratulations. What an amazing time.
Thank you, man. It's been it's been good to get to know you. I obviously I've seen you around Twitter, but like I said, this week you kind of changed the game in terms of what you're doing. So I'm so glad that you came on, and a lot of people are intrigued by what the future of the apes is beyond, profile pictures and playing games, and I think you're paving the way for that.
Thank you. We certainly hope so. It's been awesome to be on the stream.
All right, guys, we're going to roll this. And congratulations to Scott Kensinger. Like Plunge says, come. Actually, Jenkins, okay if they reach out directly to you?
Yeah, perfect. You can just DM Jenkins the Valet on Twitter.
DM Jenkins the Valet, Scott Kensinger. All right, DM him. And Jenkins, thanks again for stopping by, my man. I'm sure this will not be the last that we hear from you.
For sure. See you guys. Thanks for having me.
Take care, man. All right, guys.
Banger, banger.
Banger, bro.
Bam! Yo,
Triple
we talking
double
about Canada,
banger, bro.
old motherfucking Canada right here.
This guy's going. Yo, he's going. What are we doing, guys? How we feeling? Yo, Plunge, got any drinks out? Normally when we go to like the whole plunging side of things, we got the drinks, but now we're in the Poppyville. Okay, he's still got it too.
Oh, I got some drinks, man, and I'm about to get hyped. Guys, can we what's going on with the bids right now? Because there's no way I can keep up with this.
Are you talking about like the BAYC ones with the auction? I think the CryptoPunk is just about to end, the zombie one. But I don't know if we've gotten any new bids that we don't already know about.
33,850, which is like over 4 million.
Not bad. Not bad in the slightest.
What is Laser Eyes at?
It's the same as it was. It hasn't moved.
Yeah, a bunch of them haven't moved. Although the 2 suits that aren't the diamond grills are both at the same price, where the one with the pipe was ahead earlier.
Here,
so they're both going.
Do you want me to share my screen? We can look at it.
Guys, in the meantime, listen. I don't think my man Von the Schiller needs an introduction. You all know who this man is. He was recently up in here. We featured the Von Schiller, but he's got a daily show on Twitch, and he's got the smoothest radio voice that I cannot replicate if my life depended on it. Bro, it's good to see you again. Thanks for coming, man.
Yeah, you too. I appreciate you and Plunge having me on here. It was a really good interview the last time. We kind of chatted about things and just the space and everything as a whole, because, it seems that stuff's happening quickly, violently, all over the place. Things are pumping quicker than ever. The excitement is back in the air. I think everybody assumed that September was going to be insane. And then, I don't know. It's felt like relatively lackluster, but now it's starting to pick up. I don't know if you guys are feeling that same way.
It's a vibe.
Dude, I was just saying right when we started the show, last night I was going to bed and I was tweeting out I shouldn't go to bed. It just felt like one of those nights where you're just starting to feel the hype again. You're starting to feel this, like, we were dull for a couple of weeks. Everybody's kind of just, just chilling. And it really it really feels like things are picking up again.
And I mean, like, so I think the other huge thing with it is everyone's starting to buy again. We were in an area where I think the uncertainty was really taking over. And I mean, when people are, flipping the NFTs, which is bringing a lot of people into the space, that's when everything kind of like flushes down. And I mean, for Bored Apes, like, we've seen a huge sell off for people with those. And again, like, whenever some of those big projects sell, Cool Cats, whatever, the people that got in early, 9 times out of 10, the majority of those funds that get sold go directly back into the NFT ecosystem in one way or another.
That's such a good point.
Yep.
Bro, were you walking on the moon today? Were you walking on the moon today?
Was I walking on the moon today?
Dude, I don't know, man. I saw a picture of you, like, walking
okay.
on the moon
Yo,
or
dude. I know. Okay. I'm like, what the hell is this guy talking about? You mean the photo shoots, right? Holy shit. Dude, that suit, I don't know if you guys ever watched like UFC when those fighters and they're like too overweight and they got to go in the weight room with like jackets like that. Shit, man, I'm about to pass out and it was like 7 p.m. at night and there was a cool breeze. I don't know how the hell those fighters go through losing that last little bit of poundage when they're already in the sauna. They got the suit on. They have no will to live anymore, but it happens. It's amazing. But yeah, no, actually, that's kind of like the way we took the photo is just kind of like the building that I'm around and everything. It just happened to work that everything looked kind of space theme-ish.
So what were you doing? What? Tell us about that, though. I mean, I know you launched a project. I bought into it just because it's you. And that's what I do, right? I buy into teams.
I mean, yeah. if you're my friend in the NFT space and you're minting a project, like 99% of the time I'm gonna buy it.
Or vibing. Yeah, no, like I mean, so sorry, your question was like about kind of like the project or what was going on with like the photo shoot as a whole?
Both.
Okay.
I literally bought it blindly.
Okay, no, cool. Sounds good.
Because it's Bud Schiller.
Yo, hell yeah, dude. Love it. Okay, so one of the things that we're seeing in the space is, in a way, like we can kind of pioneer everything, right? Like one of the reasons why I started Top Shot was I was like, hey, there's, very few people really covering this right now, but there's a huge amount of demand and, everything's in Discord where, why is it only in Discord? We can have different forms of medium that people can kind of like enjoy that content and be that person. So I was like, hey, let me jump on that train. And then we saw Plunge kind of do a similar thing. And Plunge actually might have been before me. I don't know how long your Twitch journey has been. But
I started like mid-February, so I think I was a little after you.
Okay, fair. Well, it's still super, super close, right? But there's enough room out there for people to do it. And then the more we're in this NFT space, it's like, shit, I think we can legitimately NFT everything. And when I'm looking at all these different projects, I'm like, hey, like, the community aspect, being a part of something. One of the reasons why I want to do streaming and everything was the connection that people have. They want to go and do something. And with COVID, that's really been slashed. And I mean, for me, like I think I've hung out with 2 people, maybe 4 since COVID's hung out of like my actual friends besides, just like family gigs and all that kind of stuff. But it's like, hey, it's a way for people to connect online. So let's kind of like do a journey together. Let's incorporate the podcast that we have and some other things. So we have, the own marketing platform in a way with like our podcast and like ourselves. We'll also being able to kind of develop a story. And we have very talented story writers and audio producers and everything where, it's bringing their talents to life as we're going. And so, sure, it might not be something that goes completely parabolic overnight or anything, but if you give it a little bit, really excited with what's to come for it. But the photo shoot, I don't know. Snazzy, who's one of the writers on the team, was like, you need to get on a spacesuit and you need to go take photos. And I was like, all right, bet. And we went out and it turned out fantastically.
Where were you? Because
literally just like outside of my door. Outside of my door. No shot. Wow. Like it was the craziest thing. It worked because the guy who is like our guy who like designed the Space Pass and like does all of our graphic work, he was a graduate of the college that I used to do student recruiting at, oddly enough. So he like literally lives just a couple minutes up the road, so he was able to come out, bring his camera, and we just kind of did it.
Dude, you're just doing so much. You've got this podcast, you've got Twitch, you're advising on projects like the K9 Cartel, which, by the way, I am definitely invested in. Again, guys, not financial advice. that is in the background. How do you keep up? The other day I teased you privately that I was gonna have to message your secretary to get time with you.
Yo, well, actually, like, so it's interesting because we're in a space where there's not, like, when we define an expert, right? There's, certain people that like tweet about things, they talk about stuff, and really that's what it is. I talk with a bunch of teams and we kind of learn stuff. And I mean, Plunge is a huge example. I bet you from the past month of him having all these teams, he's learned more than like months ago. Just from like this hardcore thing where you're talking with these different teams and it's a whole different perspective. It's a whole new look on everything. And there's more and more people coming into the space that are like, hey, we see this, we kind of understand stuff, but we're not ingrained in it 24/7. Where then like collectively, the three of us are like, we know how certain things work and we can do stuff. And so it's really about putting yourself out there to say like, hey, if you guys are wanting help with it, let's do it. And then obviously like the proven success of like a track record, yada, yada, yada. But it's just the space is so early that you can say, hey, I'm a person that's out here available, and people are so desperate for people that they'll take it. And then obviously as time progresses, you can be a bit more selective of who you want to work with in that regard. But the whole space, like we're stupid early, and there's like, it's crazy.
It's funny. You sort of mentioned like you learn a lot from people that you talk to. Like no shit, but it's kind of like there's not a lot of people that have that access. So I'm like super privileged. I feel like I get to talk to a lot of people and they give away free shit, and I look great because they give away free shit and it's on my stream. But like, I've had so many fewer. That's not the right way of putting it. I've had a lot less duds in terms of choices that I've made in the last like 3 months. You can just sniff out the stinkers, like, and it's like, okay, yeah, like that's cool, but does it have legs? And you can see things that have legs, and especially if you talk to people and you're like, oh, great example, Penelope's. You like get Carlini on, you talk to him, you're like, oh, like I get it. I get it more. And there's like so much bubbling under the surface that you don't even realize. And especially when people are like really gifted and really genius in genius takes a ton of different forms, right? Like people have different skill sets, but it's not all just like, I'm a great dev, I'm a great marketer, I'm a great this. But like you can sort of sniff some of that stuff out. So it's been an interesting ride, but I every time you have someone new, I try and catch it all the time. Like if you have people from a team on that aren't just like the people that are trying to shill it, but like the people that built it and why they built it, like that's the type of stuff that like really gets me going, and I'm super pumped about it. It's fun to do.
And I mean, CryptoPapi, to kind of jump on that, like when you're doing the platform here with YouTube and everything, we're in a space where most teams are anonymous, and the ones that like want to stay anonymous, but they randomly come on like streams where you get to talk to them. What's your take on it? Like, do you feel like there's anyone that you've talked to that's like, you know what, this is kind of sketchy, I don't know about this one? Or have all of them you just taken like at face value and been like, oh, they're cool?
Good question.
Man, I definitely, by the time they make it onto my YouTube channel, I vetted them and I'm like, all right, this seems legit and this seems cool. And
it seems legit. See, the problem is like the vetting is like, it seems legit. And then you get them on, you're like, yeesh. Or like we've had a couple duds, and I'm not going to name names because I don't flame people, but like there's a couple times where you walk away from a conversation and you're like, yep, that's dead in the water. And you just know it because they're not charismatic.
So I'm curious, do you just say that? Like that's the tough part, right?
No shot, dude. You never say that. You're like, yo, listen, that was the vibe. You're killing it, dude.
So I
consider myself
you guys,
a good host.
as I do way more content now that I'm full-time in the space, and I'll like Schiller, right? Like I'll probably interview one team a day. For sure that's gonna happen to me. Right now, I'm able to be a lot more selective and kind of do my own background check because I'm not doing that much, right? But yeah, man, I fully expect at some point I'm gonna have a team up here on YouTube. We're all gonna talk about it. We're gonna get rugged the next day.
Yo, let's go! Yeah. It's gonna happen for sure. It's gonna happen.
There's an interesting thing too with over time. I assume Papi and Schiller, like you get a ton of DMs all the time. It's like, hey, I would like so and so. Hey, do you want so and so to come on? Or hey, do you want to like do a giveaway for your community or whatever those things are? And earlier on, it's very common to be like, hell yeah, like anything free is great. You know, like we're gonna give them. I'm just giving stuff away. It's awesome. And the longer that that's been going on, I sort of have realized as well, like giveaways are great. But if you're doing a giveaway, there's sort of this tacit understanding that you like approve of it. And I think that even if you're not overtly like, hey, I'm in support of this project, or, I'm going to mint any, like, you don't have to even say those things. But, if you have someone on and they give something away, there's like at least this perception that like, Plunge is in support of that project. And I think that it's a hard place to be, because if they're total fucking stinkers, you're just like, yeesh, like I want to guide, I want to like educate, I want to work with people, I want to like raise the level of education on what's happening and how to ask questions and all those things. But like when you have a dud and you're still giving stuff away, it's like, okay, this is going to be zero in no time, but I'm glad you came on. Thank you so much. Like it is what it is. But for the most part, we've had some good
what's going to happen, right? Like that's because we're all so freaking early. We're all trying to figure each other out. We're all trying to build a reputation, and nobody has a reputation other than YouTube beasts out there. But eventually, right? Like, and we're getting to that point. Hey, look, I minted the shit out of K9 Cartel because I saw Von Schiller's name all over the website, and that's how it goes. And that's what's going to happen over, Plunge. If someday you decide to do an NFT, I'm blindly in. I won't even think twice about it. So as we build reputations and as everybody makes a name for themselves, it will be more different. Anon is fine. I don't mind Anon if you're a reputation. If you've done something before and we know what you've done, and if you're brand new to the space and you created your profile 2 weeks ago and you've done nothing, you're not gonna be on my show, and I'm probably not gonna mint your stuff unless you prove yourself, right? So we'll get there, man. That's just the immaturity of the space we're in.
Well, I think it's interesting just from the perspective of like we are having new people enter all the time, and what people's perspective of the space / what they think should happen, I think is skewed in a way where if let's say like a project sells out, and then immediately it's like, okay, everyone's expecting things to go crazy. Where for things like the Galactic Apes, they were at like the 0.3 floor unrevealed, and today they went from, I think, like a 0.5 floor to a 1.2 floor. And so people see that, and if they're newer, they're like, why isn't what I just meant to doing that too, bud? Yo, Schiller, why is my shit not doing what just happened there, right? And it's like, there needs to be like a time and a place for almost everything. And Ed Jenkins, the valet, he sold out. He sold out right away. Everybody started listing it like below mint. And then at one point, I think it dropped to like 0.02, 0.03. Now it's sitting at, I think, 0.3, which is like almost like a 10x or whatever the hell it is. And it's crazy that, if you look into things and you read what the idea and everything behind it, you can say, all right, I think that's going to be good. Certain roadmaps, they come out and you can say, okay, you know what? Like that's going to be good. It sounds kind of cool. And then the, excitement might fade off, or you can see someone's have that like longer term approach. And I think people that like look at some of the ones that are, more of like a shorter term flare up or something you would buy purely because you think it's cool, they don't really have that mindset, and it's all completely blurred. And that's why I think like talking with teams and having them talk, I think everyone has like a vibe check themselves, right? Every time they check out something from a team, from, reading a page, whatever, it's a whole different dynamic when you hear them, because sometimes people are like really bad talkers, right? and then it like everything goes downhill real friggin' quick.
Was it? You guys remember the tree? I still have one of them, I think. The bonsai trees.
Bonsais, hell yeah, dude. Apparently the water token, we can claim it. Thanks for reminding me. I'm going to go look.
Yeah,
no shit. No, wait, they actually ended up releasing the water token?
Apparently, and it's backfilled.
And I think part of that too, like that was just, they made a choice. It was a very interesting creative choice on the first mint stream, but they ended up doing all right out of it because they came in and like, I think they were in Wade's Discord and like you answered a bunch of questions and they were fine. And I actually bought one like on secondary way later because I have a tattoo of a Japanese maple bonsai tree basically. And so I was like on the hunt for one, and one came into my price range. So I finally bought it and vaulted it. But yeah, they're there was an interesting one. But yeah, you're right. I think it's an interesting dynamic more broadly. There's so many projects out there, and everybody wants to get visibility, and it rightly so, because visibility means transactions, and transactions mean money, and it allows people to sort of, I don't want to say everybody's after money, but like that's a big part of it. And it's also for a lot of projects, and I'm assuming Shot to the Moon's no different, is like selling out and getting to the point where you have enough like a critical mass of attention allows you to then take the next step and like execute the roadmap and actually do the things that you have been telling people and promising that are going to happen, and that you've been spending a lot of time sort of like creating. So some of these projects seem a lot higher effort than others, but at the same time, like everybody's just trying to do their best. Some people are just better at it than others.
That's actually a good point. You're right, because that's where it comes down to, in terms of execution, and why people keep betting on like the BAYC team is because they keep bringing value, and I think that works for Cool Cats, for Pixel Vault. You can just go down the line.
It's interesting though, like, so I'm curious your thoughts on this, like bringing value. I mean, is like an airdrop value?
Yo, listen, Plunge, I know where you're going. Let me go off here just for a quick second. So one of the biggest problems that I've had recently, and I brought this up a whole bunch of times on Plunge God, I love you. So listen, Bored Ape Yacht Club, what they've done, it's airdrops and given us the ability to buy collabs that we have to pay for further, but we have such a high standard because we can sell the JPEGs that they drop for like $1 bajillion when theoretically the team genuinely hasn't done anything different than the other ones. And really, like, they don't really do many Twitter spaces. They don't go on like interviews. They don't do any of that kind of stuff, but they get all the praise about like, they put their head down and go. And the artwork is fantastic. And I mean, the dogs are cool and everything, but we've really not gotten anything apart from airdrops.
And are the airdrops valuable because they're novel, or they're valuable because they're valuable?
Because some son of a bitch on the other line's willing to pay for it, baby. Yeah, that's why.
And that's what a lot of this is, right? But like, and MBL, 267 has a very interesting thesis on this. Go watch Glass Club Top Shot, him and Jack Settleman going at it about it. But like, what's the future look like? Like, it's exciting because it's valuable. And why is it valuable? Because it's valuable and people want it. Well, why do people want it? Because it's valuable, right? It's like a circular argument, and that's okay. Like it's okay that like it, in the same way that craftsmanship wise, a watch or something like that. Yeah, there are things that are differentiating wise in terms of craftsmanship to some degree, but it's also perception, right? Like perception matters a lot because right now it's a digital flex and it has cachet and credence with, personalities and big people, right? It's like ascended into a larger mainstream audience, or at least maybe not mainstream, but at least, like celebrity and others, right? Into other pieces. But what happens when the price action stops, right? What happens when the floor cuts in half? Like is the attention, is the excitement, do people hang on, right? And because they're doing so much and like executing on the roadmap, like if the value isn't there, is the community still there? And I hope yes. And it seems like that's a big selling point for a lot of people, is like the community is awesome, but like is there a country club in the world that you would pay $120,000 to be a member of?
Yeah.
Well, this isn't real money we're talking about.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't know who did. Somebody tweeted today like a freaking legendary tweet. I would literally NFT this tweet. So if you guys can find it, in fact, I'll find it and give them credit because I cannot remember who said this. But somebody said airdropping a failed project is like getting pregnant in a failed relationship. It's to save the relationship. It was so perfect, man. It's so true. It's so true.
And JVD, you're right. I would pay, like, if I had $120,000 and I could have a membership to Augusta National, yes. Cyprus, yes. There are 3, maybe 5 country clubs in the United States that are worth that in terms of like what it actually affords you. If the affording is I have access to a community and free airdrops and like maybe money if it doesn't cut in half, like it's a very different dynamic. When you pay $120,000 and you can't even just pay your way in on most of those courses, it's an exclusivity thing. But if you get to play the course and that's why they're valuable. Yes, it's an exclusive club, but like you actually get something out of it. Pine Valley, yes. But yes, we need to go play. I have played Cyprus.
On, you got time to stick around?
Yeah, sure. Maybe. Hold on, let me check.
As we bring up our next guest.
Yeah, sure. Fire it up. I'm good for a few more minutes.
All right, so we're gonna give away a Canine Cartel right now.
I'm gonna be right back. Okay.
Sure, brother. We're gonna give away a Canine Cartel right now, and this is one of those where Schiller, I knew you were on the advisory board, let's call it, but I actually talked to someone else on this team. I was kind of doing my research.
You're doing the DYOR, baby.
Yeah, it wasn't totally blind. I was like, all right, Schiller's in here, but you know what? Let's do something. Let's talk. And I actually love this project. Maybe you can tell us what the plans are, but the thing that caught my eye was, they're gonna create a unique game in that you're gonna go and you're gonna fight your dogs, and the loser actually loses their NFT. Is that still happening? Because it's one of those things that I'm like, can you even do that legally?
So So I don't think it's like a legal issue at all, but I think one of the things that they're developing out, and this is more of like the developer question, is like within that casino kind of rolling out like how they want kind of like that whole experience to really play out. And I think they're just fine tweaking that thing, as well as like with the tattoo shop. And like the other day I was messing around to do like changing your name and everything. And listen, I never thought I would give a shit about doing that. You read that in the roadmap, be like, dude, you can change the name. And you're like, piss posh. Who the hell cares? But you know what? It was actually kind of cool. And I have a CyberKong too. And I'm like, I named one of the cartels like Sheriff Schiller because somebody suggested that on Twitter. But now I got to do it with the CyberKong and any other NFT that allows me to do it because I actually thoroughly enjoyed that experience.
Dude, it's unique. I hope I can actually live the day to actually see the game play out because it's definitely different than anybody else is doing. And not financial advice. Definitely have quite a few canines. All right, guys, we're going to roll the dice. Canine, CANINE. Smash the comments right now with Canine, and then we will bring up our next guest. While you smash the comments, I will introduce our next guest. Our next guest, look, he's actually literally one of the first apes that I remember ever seeing on Twitter. And he's got, he's actually well known for having like a sick ass ape and actually broke some records for us, pioneered and paved the goddamn way for Dude, I still remember the day that he sold his ape.
I remember. Everybody remembers that day. We're all like, "Whoa, that was NFT Anonymous, dude."
Who doesn't remember that? And I thought to myself, bro, I wish someday my ape would be worth that much. And here we all are, because he pioneered the way. So, everybody, welcome, NFTs Anonymous. What's up, brother?
What's going on? Thanks for having me. Let's celebrate. This is exciting. Bored Apes, CryptoPunks, Meebits, all at Christie's, NFTs, reaching mainstream adoption almost overnight. It's quite incredible what's happening. So, again, thank you for having me. And I'm really happy that Schiller's still here, too, because quick shout out to him before he goes. He knows this. He's been my idol since the beginning, just kind of really helped me find my voice and the confidence to share it and, to start building my own platform. So, all props to him.
Yo, now do you guys know the NFT Anonymous story? I don't know if everybody knows about it. I feel like I kind of know the rise to fame here a little bit. So I remember way back in the day, you were oh shit. Yeah, because you changed it from anonymous, but there was something you had.
It was King of the Queen City.
Okay, yes. I remember that, and I think your profile photo was something that was like super colorful at the time. I don't remember what it was, but I vividly remember you having all that kind of stuff, and you were really, really into Zed, and you were starting to kind of like pop up on some of the different streams there, and I was like, okay, I see you, and then you had that major horse sale for Zed, and everyone's like, all right, we know who this guy is, and I think then was when you changed your name to NFT Anonymous. I might be wrong on that, but around that area, because then you went to
ecosystem, I believe. Yeah, I think that's when I started that.
Yeah, and then because right after Zed, because it was like Top Shot, Zed, and then going into Bored Apes, was you minted that ape, and everybody was like, that's the villain ape. That is the villain ape, and everyone knew about it. And now that was really kind of like when you go from, okay, people know, to like parabolicness. That was the NFT Anonymous thing, when it's like, this guy's got that villain ape that everyone wanted.
Yeah, it was pretty wild. So I actually didn't mint it. I minted 3 the night of, and then I woke up the following morning and I wanted to see, all right, where's the mint at? Thinking that there was still going to be thousands still available. Instead, it was sold out and everyone was scouring the secondary market on OpenSea. At that point, I had made some connections. I had been introduced to what we now call alpha groups, and my alpha group was putting just apes in the chat, kept on putting apes in the chat. And
wait,
then,
you actually call them alpha groups?
I mean, I don't know what else you would call it. Friends?
No, I've never, I mean, I'm assuming that like there are groups that I am part of that would like fall into that designation, but
we are in
I've
one of the same ones.
We're all in one together.
Yeah, exactly. But with that said, so, shout out to the Mario Karters. He got a tip about an ape. It was that 1 ETH, put it in the chat, and I didn't say anything. I just went in and grabbed it. And, I knew that was when apes, the floor was still, I think, only like maybe not even double mint. So, yeah, floor's maybe 0.1. And I get that one at 1 ETH, which at the time was a big deal. Everyone was kind of a little skeptical of, whoa, that's ambitious. And, lo and behold, a month and a half later, I got the notification that it had broken the record at the time, selling for 55 ETH. And the first thing I did was where you usually will find me is, on Twitter Space, doing something to just encourage the community to interact and celebrate each other's wins.
Yo, okay, so we got to ask though, because I vividly remember you doing that Twitter Space and you sounded like in shock, but everybody was pouring in being like, holy shit, let's go, dude. How many DMs and just overall, like the vibes of that night? Can you like explain it a little bit more?
Yeah, so I had the Trippy Cyborg Ape with the unshaven bubblegum. So it's 3 traits that were all 1% or less. And it was the number 37th overall ape compared to, according to Rarity Tools. And so I put that as my profile picture on Twitter for the longest time and started to have, that digital identity, if you will. And as a result of that, was really able to develop my platform, and it became very recognizable in many different NFT communities that I was diversifying into. And so the night that I got the notification that the ape had sold, one, I had already declared to the community the only way I would sell it was if it broke the record, which at the time was held by, the purchase was held by Captain Trippy. I don't know who sold it, but Captain Trippy had bought another Trippy ape for 49.99 ETH. And I said, I don't want to just break the record. If I'm going to do this and I'm going to let this ape go, I'm going to shatter the record, and I'm going to hopefully, spark some new energy for the Bored Ape community. Sure enough, that night, I think there was over 100 people in the Twitter space, all just, celebrating. And as, Schiller said, they were blowing up my DMs. The first one to notify me was Craft Trading from Maison de Goats. I'll never forget. 2 weeks before that, we had spoken. He was like, yeah, I know you're going to sell that ape. And I was like, yeah, we'll see. Like, not really thinking much about it. And he was like, I told you so. And I was like, what is he talking about? Instinctively go to check my email, and sure enough, the sale was there. So the first thing I did, like I said, was hopped on Twitter Space and just wanted to celebrate with all my metaverse friends, which honestly, those are my real friends now. So I love it. It's been quite the journey.
It's funny, all three of you, right? Like, I have these memorable moments with all three of you. Plunge, obviously, nobody knew who the hell I was until showing up on his show. And then NFTs Anonymous, I have that I will never forget that night that your ape sold and just trailblazed everything that happened after. And Schiller, I don't know if you remember this, you probably don't, but the night the day we revealed our apes, I posted my ape. What? No, sorry. First I said, I can't see my ape. And you replied back, you're like, you bozo, you have to refresh your metadata. That's how early I was, right? I get no idea you got to refresh metadata. And then I replied back, and I'm like, here's my ape. This thing is ugly as hell. And you're like, bro, that's like a sick ape. I like that ape. And that's my memory. So I have this memories of like all three of you with like these special moments throughout that journey.
It's crazy. Well, to NFT's Anonymous point about like all of us like kind of like becoming friends in terms of like the metaverse and everything, like it really is that. And when we look at Sandbox or anything else where we do have these virtual events and everything, like I think it's going to be way bigger than people think. I know that like the in-person stuff's going to be huge, but I mean, being in Canada, I mean, Papi, you're, like living in Toronto, so, you're way closer to potentially like going out to the States or whatever, but like we're going to do everything online for the most part, and it's the easiest way to connect, and then, have those like one or two things IRL to kind of make up for it otherwise, but like we're online, we're here to stay.
Meanwhile, I've kind of had the opposite experience because you're kind of like stuck in Canada primarily, right? Whereas here, at least in the US, there's been a lot of different things going on, LA, New York, Denver, and I'm in a luxurious position with some of this, financial flexibility I found through NFTs, but also I don't have any dependents. My family's back in the Northeast doing their own thing, young, healthy. So all, God bless them, right? But it's allowed me to have the freedom to just go really explore and network and, discover new people and make new connections, really find new friends and new professional relationships. And it's really been a once in a lifetime opportunity. Never would have come across the majority of these people if it wasn't for NFTs, but also the community and the type of culture that is cultivated by this type of environment.
Dude, you've always impressed me with your maturity because I feel like I'm probably double your age. But one of the projects actually that I put up here is the Royal Society players that I've told about. Like again, clearly like blindly minted RSOP. Because I remember talking to you in the DMs. You were like, "Hey, I'm releasing this project." I'm like, "Oh shit, awesome, dude, done." What we were talking about, an hour ago about minting things with people that have a reputation, right? And I minted 20 RSOPs, and that was when I was starting to get some serious liquidity, and I could afford to do something like that. And man, has that project done not just well for me, but everything you guys stand for. And if I'm not mistaken, you joined the team full time. Is that right?
So for a period of time, I was exploring the full-time opportunity with Landmark Ventures. Recently, I actually stepped away from that just because being so early in this new industry with NFTs and crypto, I realized that while I still want to continue to be, called a loyal Royal and a community ambassador to Royal Society of Players, both coordinating and promoting and engaging with the community with the real life and the metaverse events. I still have other things that are on my own roadmap that I really find it important to continue to pursue, like things like passion projects that, again, we talk about once in a lifetime opportunity. This is a digital gold rush. And so again, people like Schiller and others and throughout the community and that I've met over the past 8 months have really given me that confidence and that inspiration to really like not settle and to just go out and pursue creating a legacy and an everlasting footprint and making a real positive impact on this space. So that's what I'm looking to do, but I'll always continue to be a part of Royal Society of Players moving forward as well.
Dude, that's the struggle, right? Like we're all so early into the space that there's an abundance of opportunity that we're all getting to the point where there's more opportunity than we have time for, and we have to make sort of some tough decisions and make sure that we look out for ourselves and maximize our future, right? So it's interesting you're talking about that because I've been thinking about that a lot.
So my first experience was that, and you'll remember this, and Schiller, you might as well, the Bored Ape Incubator / DAO that was a Discord server that I co-founded. And it was just, let's put all the apes together, not in all the crazy, hype and energy of the Bored Ape Yacht Club Discord, although there's a lot of, positivity going on there. It was, at the time, it was almost too overwhelming, and there wasn't enough direction. There wasn't enough organization. There wasn't enough development happening. So people were able to network and, make new connections within the Bored Ape Incubator. That's where Real Estate started, which I'm a part of. And then also there was Land Vault, which you can see, Schiller wearing the hat for. That also started within the Bored Ape Incubator the same week as the Real Estate's team formed. So some really amazing developments. Bored Ape Book Club came out of the Bored Ape Incubator, Bored Ape Jockey Club with Josh Ong. So, there was a lot of positive energy, and I feel like that's just a recipe for success in this community. So if we can continue to just support that success of others and like that grassroots energy, I think that we're quote unquote all going to make it.
Bro, I love that, man. I love that message. I love everything you stand for. I know you're a builder. I know. So tell us. I know you got something coming up as well, and I think you've got something coming up on Friday. Is that right?
Yo, you keep putting out these quick cryptic tweets. What the hell is this, bud? I haven't seen you talk about pause, and I'm like, what is he talking about?
Yes.
So I'll just say this. I am super analytical by nature. And so when I'm not actively participating in a Twitter space or in a Discord community or hosting an event, I'm still obsessing, honestly, over NFTs and what the future of this is going to look like. And so I see some things that are, really positive developments and some that are not. And I try to figure out what are the areas of opportunity, what would be a good installation or, a new type of venture that the community could utilize or, is going to offer some significant positive value for others. And what I've identified is that Twitter Spaces, while great for bringing the community together, are also saturated. So I wanted to continue my own personal.
Awful. I'm so anti Twitter Spaces. It is just a bunch of people circle jerking each other, and it's awful to listen to. It is so brutal.
Wow,
so brutal.
I love that take because you're identifying that there. While you kind of you ragged on me for the concept of an alpha group. Well, it's even worse.
No, more with just the naming of it. Like I see where you're coming from with that. Like it's just like when you brand it a specific way, and it's like when you actually look at it. But with the Twitters, at least I've been in 3 Twitter Spaces that I would say, hey, I learned something from that. Everything else is just like all right, bunch of people talking about the stuff that they care about and that like they want to pat each other on the back for. And frankly, like, and not that like all of us are above it, but like Schiller has spent time like doing this and like cultivating this and producing this. Like there is something to be said about having to have like a production quality value of like bringing people to talk about a specific thing. And when it's just a free for all and people get to pick and choose who comes up, and it's just like, let me just get my point across for 2 minutes, and then the next person comes up and gets their point across for 2 minutes, and the next person gets their point across for 2 minutes. It's just like a bunch of people not actually talking to each other, just like spitting nonsense, and it's like insufferable. I fucking hate it.
There's also, I mean, there's some people that I appreciate, I consider, to be quote unquote acquaintances or friends of the metaverse. However, I 100% agree with you that those same people, and I won't name them by name, but that they are guilty of kind of having this like clique, right? Where there's almost a quote unquote inner circle that is not really positive, because most people in those Twitter spaces are going to feel alienated and not feel a part of the movement, not a part of the energy that, and, a part of the success that we're all trying to promote of others and ourselves. Whereas what I would like to do, I'll just, I'll announce it. It's a social access token. It doesn't have a name confirmed. There's a few names being thrown around. Again, we don't want to rush it, so I'm not going to confirm a launch date as of now either. It is a possibility it could be by the end of this week, but I don't want to confirm anything as of yet. Basically, though, what I am looking to provide is a community within a community. So I know what it was like at the beginning, and I also know that will never be possible on a larger scale again. And so if you can offer that on a smaller scale and then grow that organically with that grassroots energy, have a few communities or, some artist creators that are already vetted and that, I can endorse or that UTC can endorse as far as just the type of values and principles and the type of energy they're looking to promote of others. And I really think that overall it can be that ideal theory of a rising tide raises all ships, and we're going to see a lot of financial success and also just a lot of personal growth of those that.
Can you make sure to call it the Alpha Group though?
Definitely not.
No, you don't want that.
You're right though. So many people say like alpha everything though, and I don't know if you and Poppy, tell us to shut the hell up if you got other people coming on here. But I don't know if you guys saw the lazy lion
coming up too.
Yo, listen, have you guys seen the lazy lion thing that happened the other day on Twitter Spaces? What a shit show! Okay, before I mention this real quick, was anybody there listening to it at all?
Are you talking about the one with the Gutter Cat Gang?
I don't know. Maybe.
Where I'm pretty sure there was one where I was on stage, and then it actually got to a point where I would remove myself from the stage.
It was probably that one, to be honest with you, because we were listening to it, and what it turned into was like people were like shitting on some people that were on stage. It was like one or two people that had like lazy lions, and the rest were just other, notable ones. And people were like, yo, like the lazy lions doing these coordinated attacks. It's awful. It's bad. It sets like a horrible precedent. And like when the people who are repping the lazy lions thing tried talking or saying a point, they just got shut down so hard to like Plunge's point about like, hey, like the people that are up on the stage, like it is like really like a buddy kind of system. And, there was really not too many spaces where it has that, kind of like cohesive nature where it is, anybody can come up, give opinion, give validated, and then like, talk about it a little bit more in depth, where that one was just like spewing shit. Like it was a full tilter, bud. We had the gloves off, baby.
I may have said this before. Opinions are like assholes. Everyone has one, and most of them stink. Like it just is the way that it is. And unfortunately, access and like following grants you a microphone, and there are a lot of people that don't deserve the microphone, and they can, when you have time to compose a tweet or send a Discord message or whatever those things are, like it is a very different quality than I have to articulate my point coherently and like in a way that's approachable and accessible. And 80% of the people that talk in Twitter Spaces have no concept of that. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect with that, because I know everybody has different formats and like things that they're good at, but like I'm sorry, Papi, that I derailed us off to the left here, but like I had to get it off my chest because, and this is not directed at you NFTs. Like this is just generally like the trend of the Twitter Spaces that I've had to like hop into the last few months have been brutal.
Yeah, so I'll say this: we have 5 or 6 communities that have already agreed to become a part of this coalition, which is really one of the short-term goals of this tokenized community, or call it a gatekept community. And I don't expect everyone to participate, and I don't want everyone to participate, because by keeping it small and keeping it quote unquote wholesome, or the right type of people involved that I've already aligned myself with over the past 8 months, because they represent the right type of role models for the vision of what this could be long term, I think that, again, it's going to be very successful bringing those people together in a more organized fashion, which, Schiller knows. I did it before with Zed Run. I had an organization of 250 stables. I just didn't happen to have the right partners at the time, but I'm capable of leading that type of coalition of others, and I think that it'll be really beneficial for all that are involved.
All right, guys, we have our next guest up.
Yo, I'll bounce. I've been on here forever. Leave the spotlight, guys. I love you.
I fucking love
Have a good night.
Like it's just like family
Later,
having a conversation.
Yo, we're vibing. Peace.
You know what I'm saying? All right, NFTs Anonymous. I know you wanted to give away an RSOP card, which again,
let's do it. Let's give away an ace.
Bullish. And a guaranteed mint to your project. Was that right?
Yeah, yes. That there will be a token will be bestowed upon someone that has won the giveaway.
All right, so we'll give it to the same person. We'll make this easy, so they're gonna get that way. They get a physical NFT today, and then a guaranteed mint for
a prize. Yeah,
your project, right? So we're gonna go with guys.
It's not a token like tokenomics. Not as at this point. It's just going to be an NFT, but it's not going to be an avatar project with different rarities. They're all going to be the same.
Dude, you know what? I think at some point we're all going to make a transition into that direction. All right, guys. So RSOP, smash the damn comments right now. RSOP.
That's the keyword.
That's the keyword.
Damn it! I was hoping it was going to be alpha.
Alpha. He's so salty about that.
No, I just.
NFTs Anonymous.
I'm just fucking with you.
You can stay.
RSOP. I'm gonna enter. I don't have an RSOP.
Are you busy? Do you want to stay for a bit?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Awesome, man. Love to have you while we bring on our next guest, who, by the way, I have never talked to on stream, but this man is known literally as like he's like I don't want to say the father. Yeah, he's like the father of the apes, right? Yep. He's the father of the apes. So this man needs no introduction. My man, what's up?
Hey, good to be on. Thanks for having me.
Hey man, good to see you. I have never actually talked to you in person. Can you believe that?
Well, yeah, it's good to be hanging out then.
Dude.
I remember you went out. Remember that Schiller? It wasn't ApeCon or something. It was, we had like a big long day, and you were wearing the VR headset. Were you wearing a HoloLens or something? And you went on and you were hyped. And I think I came on after you, and I was just bizarre. Like, wow, how do I follow that up? But so it was a lot of fun. We missed each other that day.
Oh, did you go right after me?
Or I was watching it, and then I remember going on. So maybe it was like a couple after.
Yeah, I don't know. It was that morning. I actually happened to pick up a HoloLens because I just kind of want to tinker with VR, AR, MR, and NFTs. And we have one at work that we use for stuff. And I just picked it up, and then I just felt inspired. That literally happened like 10 minutes before I went live. I was like, oh shit, I'm going to put this thing on.
That's amazing. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Dude, so man, you've got this incredible reputation. So it's an honor to be able to actually talk to you in
Thanks.
real life, let's call it. Because it's like Twitter's not real life, and then you get to see someone on stream, and that's like real life. So what have you been up to, man? And how long have you been in the space?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that I've been like around that much longer. I guess I probably really got back into NFTs like January, February. So was rolling with some of y'all, like, riding the Top Shot wave, and then into Zed Run, then Bored Apes, and kept going. Um, and it's been an incredible year. I guess one thing I lucked out was I bought some Top Shot packs last summer. I was like buying the Panini digital packs, and then I got into the beta and I bought some Top Shot packs. I bought like one legendary and a few like rares and early adopters. And then I just let it go. I just forgot about it for a few months. I bought a few more in the fall when they announced, you can get more packs. And then I came back in January. I was like, oh, these are doing something. And I was like, I think what happened for me, I was like, all right, I think the world's ready for like these digital assets. Like I think they're ready for digital ownership. I like my foray into NFTs was CryptoKitties. So I was like, back in the day, like bought a bunch with some of my extra ETH, and then like tried to breed them. And there was like early gas wars where you like, I don't know, 2018 gas wars. And I took a long break and then came back this year, and it's been, the wildest of rides, but super fun.
Nice, man. Dude, it's finally good. It's finally good to be with you here. And so, by the way, man, again, like people that I respect in the space that are involved in projects, and it's probably a little bit of me, and just ever since I basically decided I was going full time into the space, I actually focused my energy to making sure that I left the company that I'm with in a good position. So I started
Nice.
not focusing on NFTs, and everybody, there's a lot that's been going on over the last month. So tell us a little bit about the Zodiac Friends.
Yeah, so I'm an advisor to the Zodiac Friends team, and they approached me a few months ago and said, "Hey, we're working on this project, but really could really use help with someone who's just has a ton of visibility, and understands kind of what the needs are for a project." And then I really loved their mission for representation. So Zodiac Friends is going, like, as it mints, is going to create a fund that will be used to buy art from underrepresented artists and help elevate them, and then display their work. So that was something that felt like, these are cute little guys, and it'd be a fun project to support. So yeah, I've been advising them. We're working out kind of, how to finish this mint well, and what's next. But we're happy to give one away tonight.
Nice. And this project's minting right now. Actually, again, you put me in touch with them yesterday. That's what I found out about
Sweet.
them.
Yeah,
And I saw that they're minting. They're already minting, right? They're already live, and you can go mint right now at zodiacfriends.io.
yeah. It's like, it is minting on the website, or it's already revealed. So if you want to go check out what's on OpenSea, you can also find a deal there. So
Ooh, I like the instant reveals. I think I'm in on that one. I was waiting to talk to you first, but I'll be definitely minting some tonight. Not
nice,
financial
thank you.
advice.
Yeah,
Dude,
so there's some like Jade Emperors hidden in there. We did like a puzzle race last week, and then there's these like 8 kind of super rare emperors there's a few hidden still in the minting. So you might get something fun.
So I still actually I remember you vividly as well as these guys, the night that the apes were minted, and I'm pretty sure you were one of the ones that minted an ape.
Yep.
One of you guys freaking put me onto the apes. I don't know who, by the way.
It wasn't me.
Have you guys ever
I missed
gone?
out. I was asleep.
Is that what happened, Plunge?
Yeah, it was like midnight, and I was asleep.
It was late.
Would it have been Schiller that put you on?
Josh was definitely one of the ones that I remember tweeting a lot about them at the time.
Yeah, I want
for
to find
sure.
the original tweet. It was from a while
So
ago.
I actually, by the way, I actually went through Twitter today. I wanted to find all those tweets, and I wanted to see which ones I liked, to see if I could potentially find who actually showed me the ape, who was like maybe the first one that I liked. And Twitter didn't go back earlier than later than June or whatever, so I couldn't actually figure it out. But you were in on these apes, and you were kind of like you had a voice for the ape. So tell me a little bit about your experience of minting the ape, and then sort of what it meant to you.
Yeah, so I saw apes on my timeline, that first night, and I was like, oh, those look kind of fun. It's like 0.08, like what's the worst that could happen? So I minted one, I tweeted it, and I went to bed. And like I remember like a couple people were like, oh, that's cool. And then probably like a dozen people bought an ape after I tweeted it. And uh and it was like one of the rare nights where I was like, I'm gonna put my phone away, I'm gonna go to sleep, like actually like go to sleep. So I woke up the next morning and like all the shenanigans had happened with like, I don't know, Pranksy and Blau coming in and buying up the hundreds and people like trying to transfer their ETH over to get their 1/8. And I woke up and I was just like, what just happened? And so I put my ape as my profile pic and like was like, let's go apes for the weekend. And then I think I was one of the few apes that had access to Twitter Spaces. So I just started hosting spaces, and that's where we found like Clarence and NFTs Anonymous was hanging out. Schiller came on and he was just like screaming the floor price as it moved up every 5 minutes. um, and it was just like the wildest. Like everyone was just trying to figure out like what is this thing. We were like looking at the roadmap, being like, what are mutant breeding machines? And we were just trying to figure out like what's coming. And yeah, it was just like it was just super fun. And it's I can't say that I knew that I was gonna get here, like Sotheby Christie auction, in the same month and all that stuff. But like what felt special to me was the community. And so I just made a decision like, hey, this is something that I want to continue to be a part of. I'm gonna invest in it. So I started doing meetups. I met NFTs Anonymous in Brooklyn at some point, and then did a meetup in LA, and then one back in New York, and those have just been really fun to meet my fellow apes and bridge that like we were talking about, like you bridge the different dimensions and you bring things from Web3 down to real life, and then you bring it back to like Web2 onto Twitter, and then at some point we're gonna be hanging out in the metaverse, like with our Decentraland stuff or Sandbox and all that. So that's what a community is about. Is just like we just find cool places to hang out and we get to know each other, support each other.
Josh, I know you're an ambassador for the Sandbox, right? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Do you? I do ask myself this a lot. Is the metaverse Twitter and Discord, or are we going to get like a legit experience where rather than being on Twitter and the metaverse, which is quick and easy and dirty, are we going to spend time in that world? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think we're totally going super deep into some crazy digital world in the next few years. I think we've got some hurdles we got to jump over, some of it on the like computing side, a lot of it on the like development and content side, and some of it just in like terms of like understanding what it means to like migrate into a digital space. And that's I think what we're exploring as apes and as like other profile pics, is like we're learning what digital identity means and how to build a character, how to build a life, how to collect accessories and furniture and real estate and like put it all together and build this new world together. But I actually think like, I mean, I love Sandbox. I'm happy to represent them. I love Decentraland. I hang out in there a lot. I think those are just barely even scratching the surface in terms of what the metaverse will be eventually. And so, I think that to call either of them, metaverse right now is actually going to end up looking kind of primitive in a few years when we realize like what the true power of like digital immersion can actually be. And I don't know if that's like VR or haptics or, just greater fidelity and you know, like full 3D modeling and, you know, I don't know, all that stuff, mocap and things like that. Um but I know that you know, once we go digital, there's not a whole lot of going back, you know. And so like you know, we have like um the Wall-E kind of pictures of people like so entranced with like digital, and Ready Player One, you know, where it's like the whole world falls apart. Like, you know, I'm not quite that cynical, but I also think that when there's almost like a metaverse singularity where when your digital world becomes more compelling than your real world, and in some ways like Twitter and Discord and like Twitch and stuff can almost feel that way. Like we spend a lot of time in digital, and honestly the experience itself is quite rudimentary from it's just like text and voice and you know all that stuff. So so I think we're going to reach a tipping point where the experience of being in a digital world is going to be so compelling and in some ways so undifferentiated from real life that it's going to be really dangerous. It's going to be addicting, and people are just going to get really sucked into it. And we saw that honestly with like World of Warcraft and like Fortnite and like it's already extremely compelling when you have these like full gaming worlds and clans and all that stuff. So I'm excited for
it. Doesn't need to be. I have interesting metaverse takes, but like I don't need to be in every part of the world. Like I you know, like
Yeah.
you focus on a spot and that's where you hang, and like that's where
Sure.
that's the stuff we need to build. We don't need to build like large tracts of like barren land. We need city centers that like you can do shit in, you know, because that's where people are going to hang out and spend time. And you know, I think
Yeah.
it's a very interesting speculative bet in a lot of different ways. I think the metaverse that's gonna like there's gonna be one that like gobbles everything else up, and hopefully all these ones that are there now like get morphed or molded into it in some way, shape, or form. But whatever is the next version or like the next iteration or like the you know the I know Poppy, you're a big Ready Player One guy. Like the Oasis doesn't exist yet. Like it hasn't been developed yet, and I'm
Yeah.
fully on that train of thought, but like it doesn't need to, as long as the pockets and the tech that's moving forward become more and more compelling. Like you're going to spend a lot of time in that thing if it's meaningful, even if it's not a fully fleshed out world, because most of us don't need the whole world. We need the thing we care about.
Absolutely. And for us, that could just be like the Bored Ape Yacht Club, like in the swamp, you know, and you could just go there and hang out with the other ape avatars, and like people could spend a big chunk of their lives there if they really like if the community was strong, you know. And it's like what's outside there, and you look and it's just like pixels or whatever. Like it's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I, you know, I the reason I'm excited about NFTs, one reason I am, is I think that they can be the foundation for a metaverse because they allow for interoperability, right? And so, like, if you had like Disney had one world and Universal had one world, and it's like you're not going to get Harry Potter at the Marvel whatever, but if we have NFTs locking down, like we can actually make those assets that cross over between different worlds and different universes. And so that to me like gives us a chance to have some freedom as opposed to like fully siloed corporate worlds. I hope. We'll see.
Does anybody already get a little bit of anxiety of being like for days at a time with people in real life and no connection back to the metaverse? Because I know I do, man. I'm not joking. Like my family will even tell you this. Like there's so much action, there's so much stuff, there's so much like constant feedback that we get in this space that, man, it's like when you go out into the real world, it's starting to get more and more difficult, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I've actually been practicing this mindfulness with my family where I have to just leave the phone at home, because otherwise it's like it's pinging. It's like, oh shoot, people are minting this, and it's like people are DMing me like, hey, did you see that? And it's just like I have to actually give myself the ability to miss out on something so that I can be present in the real world. And and it's wild because I don't know if you ever get like the phantom pings where you're like, it feels like my phone's going off, but I don't actually have it with me. But that's a choice that I started to make because I realized just like how deep I am, and kind of how wired in I am on just being on Twitter all the time, Discord all the time, and so it's like I'm trying to make it more separated because the mix is really challenging. I find myself kind of like, at the pool with the kids and they're like swimming and I'm just like, checking whatever Twitter drama is going on. And sometimes I realize like I love that stuff, but I also realize sometimes I just don't need it and I just put it away. So
yeah, NFTs Anonymous, you've been traveling like a madman, right? Like I know
Yeah.
I've seen your tweets, man. You're freaking
Josh knows.
you're traveling
Josh,
like crazy. Are you
Josh
able to
knows that
disconnect when you're traveling?
Josh knows October and November are both going to be crazy for me. We're going to be in a lot of the same spots. And then as far as one other thing that I wanted to mention, then I'll answer your question, was just that this idea of wealth redistribution, I think, is really fascinating. We're seeing, I kid you not, I talked to someone that we share like 10 different Discords, some pretty, prominent ones on Discord, including Bored Apes. And that's what they were asking me about was, hey, would you be interested trading this for, this plus some ETH? And, we were talking for a few minutes and then they said, oh, I'm only 15. I wanted to get another Bored Ape for my friend or something. And I was like, so then follow it up. And I'm like telling him like, hey, congrats. Like, you're going to make it, and just joking with him. He sends me his vault, just his vault wallet. And I mean, it's got a squiggle in it. It's got, multiple Bored Apes. It's got, all these different NFTs. And you realize that he can't be the only one, and that as you, of course, get older, he's 15, that once you say cross 18, 21 years old, there's got to be at least six figures being made all across the board, on almost, a weekly basis, monthly basis at this point for some people. And it makes you wonder long term, what does that look like? Like, that can't go on forever. That's not sustainable. At some point, there's going to have to be some sort of intervention there.
It's wild.
Yeah,
dude, it's an absolute wild world we're all living in.
The wealth redistribution is crypto rich people funneling crypto riches into other non-crypto rich people's hands that lucked out on minting things. So like, congrats to everybody that got in early on a massive project. It's you were mentioning this earlier about like sustainability with not just this, but in general, like flipping this stuff. We haven't seen a bear market yet. if it turns into crypto 2017 to 2019, there's going to be a lot of people that quit their jobs. They're going to be hurting for health insurance. So don't get wrecked.
That's
and
like
thankfully that person can sit in his parents' basement and maybe chip in for his cell phone bill.
Yeah, that was one thing like that my community wants to focus on is onboarding, but also letting people know that the way the space was 6 months ago, don't expect those same type of outcomes today on as likely of a basis. Just because Josh and I, we were there really from the origin of this wave of NFTs. And so therefore we had a much lower point of entry necessary to see a fair amount of success. Whereas, I mean, I was talking with some friends about this recently in the space that it almost seems like you need 5 figures now to have a realistic shot at seeing any sort of life-changing returns, unless you just happen to hit a lottery ticket.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I agree with that.
Yeah, I don't either.
I think
but
like
it's. I mean, I know what you're getting at, where it's like some of the cost, the barrier to entry stuff is a little bit higher on some of these things. Go ahead, Josh. Though.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could choose to mint new projects and make your moves, and start with a bankroll of anywhere between $500,000. Like, would it be tough, especially with gas wars? Like, yeah, you might have to like spam a Discord to get some pre-sale. Like you might need an alpha group to help you figure out what's up. But I think it's out there. I think a lot of people want a shortcut, and I think the reality is like, yeah, like some of us got lucky with Bored Apes, but in order to be able to spot Bored Apes to mint them, we had spent hundreds of hours just like talking and researching and listening to podcasts about like what does it mean to be, have these, digital scarcity and things like that. And we were just like around it, talking shop all day. And so
yeah, and then everybody
it's
just
an
dove
education.
in after 5
Dude.
minutes, and
Yeah.
everybody's Twitter stuff.
When somebody tells
you
me
look
I
out
got,
and you follow blindly.
listen,
That's
when
what
somebody
we
tells
do.
me I got lucky with the Bored Apes, you said hundreds of hours. I say, yeah, well, you know what? I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on NBA Top Shot, and I bought the top. And if I don't do that, then I probably don't mint a Bored Ape,
Right.
because that was my
Yeah, of course.
process, my way in, my gateway to understanding NFTs. There was no luck in it, man. It was basically like making an investment and understanding, okay, the market cycles and where I was at, and looking for that next run up. And I firmly believe it was not luck.
No, you're betting on the technology, and I think the technology has proven that it has sound application to a lot of different aspects of our lives and a lot of different sectors of the economy, and maybe more down the line. And it really is going to change the world, hopefully, in a very positive fashion for many people.
All right,
That's the
guys.
hope.
Thank you to both NFTs Anonymous, Josh, two gentlemen in this space that I respect wholeheartedly. You guys are absolute monsters, legends. If the goddamn Canadian American border lets me go to NYC, I know you guys travel a lot, so will you be there?
Oh,
I
yeah.
mean, I'm here in New York, but you got to come for Ape Fest if you can make it.
I'm trying, but apparently, I gotta get a third shot to be accepted into the country.
Oh,
So
no.
I'm trying hard. I hope I can figure it out. I would absolutely love to meet you guys in person. You guys are both legends in this space, and I know the stuff that you're both creating independently is, it's gonna be, here for a lifetime. I firmly believe that.
Thanks,
So,
Bob.
Josh, I know
Thank
you
you for
wanted
having
to
us on.
give away a Zodiac Friends. So
Yeah.
I'm going to roll the dice again on the Zodiacs, and we're going to make the word Zodiac. Hopefully,
Sweet.
you guys can all spell that properly. Z-O-Z, or Z for the Americans. O-D-I-A-C. And
Pop, are you in
roll the dice.
Ontario?
I am.
Yeah, what part?
Toronto.
Toronto? Okay. I've been
Yeah.
to Toronto a few times. I've been to the zoo.
You've been to our zoo.
Yeah.
You know what?
Very nice.
Soon, I want to turn that thing into a digital zoo.
Oh, yeah? Fair enough.
Why not, right?
Be a little bit
Like,
more humane,
let
right?
the animals roam free, and
Exactly.
you could come watch our digital animals.
There you go. Just put like, okay, we got like lions over here, we got apes over here. You could do the whole menagerie.
Yeah, watch this. You ever go to Niagara Falls on the American side?
I actually have a story about that, and it's not good. I tried once, and it didn't go well.
The reason I ask is there's the fashion outlets right there, and everyone from
Yes.
Toronto comes over to go to the
Yes.
fashion outlets, and I used to work there.
Yes, that's
Today I
my
learned.
my mother is a professional border crosser, outlet shopper.
Very nice.
Flush is ready to like lose it.
My mom-
I'm not kidding. My mom would give me my Christmas presents late because she couldn't get across the border.
Yeah, you don't have to pay the high sales tax. I used to deal with that on a daily basis.
You could do Canadian Boxing Day. Just do it a day late.
Yeah, and I'm just joking. My mother never gave me Christmas presents late. I love her to death. It's just in case she's listening. All right, guys.
Thanks for
Hey,
having us.
we did have the winner, Justin1J.Ray.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to you for winning a Zodiac Friend. Really intrigued by the project, actually. Again, didn't know about it until yesterday.
Thanks.
And reach out to Beijing Do. You see it there, Josh Shong. I mean, come on, man. If you don't know who Josh Hong is, and I don't know, you're not gonna make it.
True. Facts.
Guys,
Sweet.
thank you so much. And dude, we'll catch up soon. And I hope I can make it across the border. I definitely want to meet up with you guys and have some fun together. All right.
Yeah, we'll look forward to it.
All right. Thanks for having us. Thank you.
Cheers.
All right, guys. All right. My gosh.
Oh my God, we made it.
Ladies,
We
what
made
is
it.
up?
Is that a telescope?
What's up? How do I look?
Oh my, you look
Thank you.
that's a sexy halo you're wearing. And I'm so sorry. Wow, we are running so late. Like
Just
we're like
keeping women waiting up in here, honestly.
okay, so a story about this. I feel like an absolute jerk because I have been following corporate trash for like the longest time, and I like literally very
Really?
recently found out you're a woman. Yes.
Hey, I mean,
Like-
that's my fault. My profile picture is of an ape, so you wouldn't know. Swicky, you're on mute, girl.
Sorry.
Yeah, but your profile picture is of an ape, but then today when I went to message you, I noticed that you literally have like the first thing on your Twitter profile is woman.
True, but you'd have to go to the bio to see it, you know.
Yeah. And I'm like, and Swicky knows this. Like, I have 3 daughters, so I do what I can. Steph, who is in the comments, has been on my show. Like, I really, really feel passionate about empowering women into the space and bringing more women into the space. And I was telling I have 3 daughters, right? And I guarantee you, like, I promise you, in 5 years, this is where we're all going to be. So the oldest daughter is an artist. The middle daughter is like a coder. Like, she's just got that mind. And the youngest daughter is going to be an influencer. And we're going to create an NFT project of all women. And I can't wait. And so I'm all about empowering women. And then here I find out corporate trash, who I've been following forever, is a woman I didn't know. I'm upset. So
Corporate
okay,
trash,
you're fine.
congratulations on your womanhood.
Thank you.
I really appreciate
Yeah,
you.
I appreciate that.
I hear you guys' voices all the time because I watch every stream that you're on, but this is the first time that we're all like together.
Every
know.
stream?
Yeah, every time. If you guys are on something, I watch it. Period. Full
That's
stop.
awesome.
Oh, thanks.
Thanks for the support.
Yeah, you just don't know it because I don't like tweet about it all the time. Because then I'd be the weird guy that's just following you guys around. Which I'm sure there are plenty of them out there. But how are you guys? You guys good? I know it's late. Where are you? Where are you now? If like Swicky, are you on the West Coast now?
I'm in LA, and
Okay.
I think CT's in Texas right now.
Yeah, I'm traveling for work right now. I have a conference that I'm supposed to go to tomorrow that I don't
Nice.
really know what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to it.
Don't tell anybody. I've been there. I know that.
are you? I'm so curious. So are you? Or are you able to talk about it, or are you kind of keeping
No.
that private?
Oh, like
Just
my
secret.
life and stuff? No, I mean, I
No,
just have a
not your
corporate-
life, but like, what kind of conference are you going to with normies?
Oh.
I'm always interested in that.
No, it's just a stupid like work conference, you know, one of those kind of old school conferences where you go and like network or whatever. So we're
Mm,
supposed to go network, and I still am like a little unclear on what that means, but that's okay. I'll just like mint NFTs all day or something like that. I don't know.
great idea. Number
Yeah.
one. Number two, are you guys as concerned about the execution of NFT NYC as I am?
The execution.
Yeah, the fact that there's 757,000 speakers in like 2 stages.
Yes, and also they have like some dinner, and I don't think all of the people that they've invited are going to fit in it. But you know what? Who knows? Maybe they've got it all under control. And really, are we really there for the conference, or
No.
are we really there for the parties?
We're not there for the conference. We might see LG speak or some other people, but
I
maybe
hear
a
him
co-
speak 3 times a week. I don't need to listen to him again.
we got to support, you know?
I want to hear some people speak that I haven't heard before. That would be my
Like?
goal. I would like to see and hear Jimmy speak. I think he's speaking. And then there's a handful of like tech companies that are not like project focused that I'm interested in hearing from, but I'm also not so committed to like actually being there that I wouldn't, sneak away and do stuff with do some hood rat shit with my friends.
Noted.
Yes. Yeah. So
Swicky, do you even have a pass or no?
Do I have a pass? Yes, I have. I actually have a ticket.
Okay.
I think a lot of people that are going don't actually have a ticket, but that's
No.
because there's so much going on
I don't have one
other
either.
times that it doesn't matter. I mean, I'm there to support, a couple of my friends who will be up speaking on the panels or their companies, and everything else is just like party time for me. And meeting people in real life, because I haven't met a lot of you guys in real life. So
definitely. That's the way I feel as well.
Does that make anybody nervous?
What?
Yeah. People are going to be like,
meeting
wow, you're
us
way shorter
in
than
real
I thought.
life.
No, I'm stoked. It's going to be so fun.
Yeah, I'm jazzed
I
about
feel
it.
like me and CT have really met a lot of people. I mean, we've, the Aped Venice event and Josh coming in with his event. And then we had a Squanchland, meetup. So I feel like
I had so much FOMO from that, by the way.
Wait,
so
there
much
was
FOMO.
there was a Squanchland meetup
in Los Angeles. There was, it was really fun.
It was
and
an
there was a
invite
lot
only
of face reveals.
Yeah, there was it's an invite only
still
thing.
left out being Canadian.
It wasn't. You just didn't
It was a
scroll back
group-
to read.
No, it was
no,
a group.
it's just that I can't get in your country.
It was a group within a group. It was like there was a
Oh right, it's like Squanchland private group.
no, it was like the group within the group within the group. Yeah.
No, that's not true. It was
It's totally
public
true.
display for all
Yeah.
to see, and you guys just didn't read it. It's not my fault.
Yeah. Well, when I wake up and there's 1,700 messages, I can't read them all. So I just
Where are you
browse.
based, Plunge?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin. Or
Oh,
just
cool.
outside of it.
Cool.
Yeah. So
Is
anyway,
it cool?
I like it.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah?
Wisconsin's cool.
I know nothing about Wisconsin.
Yeah, Madison
Green
is
Bay
a
Packers? Is that
very tech
right?
forward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Green Bay Packers, but I grew up in California, so Northern California, like a shithole part of it. But so we've Swicky and I have talked at great lengths about our love of the northern coast or the central coast and
Central Coast. Yeah.
up
Living
through
your
San
Big Little
Francisco.
Lies fantasy up there.
A little bit further south than.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, regardless, you guys thoughts on the ape auction? It did finish, right? So we saw it was like 78 or 7.8 million Hong Kong dollars. Anybody know the conversion of it? I think it was like 300
ET knows
something.
it.
I converted it. I
up.
put it, guys. I put it up on the banner. Look at this. We got
There.
9.6 million Hong Kong dollars, 1.2 million USD, 407 ETH.
Yeah, I saw
That's
the I think the blue beams went over for what the blue beam floor is, like well over it. So I mean, I'm not really super surprised at how much they went for because they were so rare because of the suits. There's just so few of those.
Actually, it wasn't the Bluebeam floor 400 ETH, and this went for 407 ETH, or did I get my math wrong?
I think you're right, but it still went up above it.
Yeah, and yeah, so actually my number was 450 ETH. That's what I thought. I mean, hey, it's not that far.
I thought it would be higher too, honestly. But maybe I just have really high expectations.
That's because your ape is famous.
No, you
Yeah.
not only
She's
We
hella
need to
famous.
see this. Tell this mural picture. I want
Yeah.
or can
I got
we
it.
pull it up?
Show.
I got
oh
it.
yeah,
I
you
got it.
show because I don't have it up. But yeah, we did this last weekend, which was only a day ago. So yeah, Kiki's got a big mural up in LA downtown.
Can I ask you a question about this?
Yeah.
What was the thought process on not putting a QR code to the OpenSea listing?
Because we discussed it and felt that it might look like ad space or corporate.
I love that.
Hey,
that was a legit question. That wasn't an accusatory thing. I
No,
was just
yeah.
really curious.
Because I actually wanted a QR code on there at first, and then after we discussed it for a little bit, I was like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want that." And actually, a lot of people have been tagging me on Top Shots Wiki just driving by, so I think it's worked out. Lots of people came by to ask about it while we were painting it, and the artist, he's an old school graffiti artist from the 80s and 90s. He's very well respected. He's done a lot of work in a lot of different areas of fashion. And he's just really amazing. And I have a really great team.
What
I
was
have like
his
a team now.
You have a team.
His name is Rich. Yeah.
Rich.
We have a team of people now. So we're just
Kiki's
kind of
street
like,
team.
yeah, it's like we have merch,
You guys have Do you
got
guys have like
merch?
those t-shirt guns like that they have in the
No, I
arenas?
really want one of those though.
You need one. You should show up to NFT NYC with a t-shirt
And just like
gun.
shoot it off. Yeah.
Make
So-
t-shirts
so-
of Kiki and then just fucking fire them into people.
I
So
like
for
that.
those of us who are not like obviously in anywhere near you, like describe where this is.
This is like 3 or 4 minutes from downtown. It's right by the fashion district. It's actually like a 3-way intersection and the train actually goes by. So if you're 2 blocks away, you can see it. I mean, I was like really shocked when we drove away. And then we came back and we sat at a light and she was like clear as day. And a few people even came by or they posted that they had driven by and couldn't believe their eyes. So they like made a loop and came back again just to make sure that they saw a BYC.
I'm so jealous. That's so cool.
That is so
Well,
you know
can have one too.
I could.
like Swicky, my conversation with you on this channel, like you never really, you know, when you invite people on and you're like, hey, let's have a chat, right? Like we know each other from the space. You never really know what nuggets you're gonna get out of it. And I will never forget me asking you, would you sell her for $1 million? You're like, you're like, man, what? No, hell no. $1 million. And I'm thinking like $10 million. Like I'm thinking, by the way, at that point, like I'll sell my ape for $1 million all day long, right? And you completely changed my mind. I delisted my ape like literally after our conversation because and I remember you saying, by the way, which tonight is the end of that night, you were like, no, Kiki's gonna be up on what was it, a banner of some sort? I can't remember.
She was in Hong Kong through the Christie's auction in Hong Kong, actually last weekend. So she was up for 2 weeks in the harbor and it was like a whole display. I had put it up on my Twitter, but she basically was there with 9 other apes and people could walk up and take selfies with her. And she might have another opportunity.
She's a worldwide girl. She is.
Yeah, she does a lot of stuff. She's got a lot going on, more than me.
Unbelievable. And that's what made
So
me
sad.
realize like I'm so short-sighted. Like that's what made me actually honestly do a gut, like you gave me this like gut check. Like, okay, I'm doing this wrong. Like, you know, I'm talking to Swicky over here who's like building like a lifelong brand and she recognized that and she's like, I ain't selling my ape. And here I'm thinking like, who can I flip my ape onto? Like I'm pretty sure I'm wrong.
No, it's not wrong or right. Like I just saw an opportunity with the Punks comic, right? Like that hasn't even come out yet. I mean, there's still a couple months, right, before
I forgot about that.
we even hit. I know. So
Yeah.
like for me, like I'm not selling her before that at all. So every moment that I have, I'm maximizing her. We have licensing rights. We have all these things. People let their apes sit there. That's fine. They're welcome to do that. But I'm basically just like balls to the wall going like fully in on this.
I feel attacked.
No, because I mean, like, you know, I just saw an opportunity to do it and things kind of just are like working out a little bit. And so it's not like I went digging for stuff, but stuff did kind of land in my lap. And just the more that it happens, the more momentum I have. And I'm just going to like totally take every opportunity.
So corporate trash, I've never asked you this question.
Oh God.
Would you sell your ape for $1 million?
Yeah, 100%. I absolutely would. I can do that tonight. If anyone wants to send me $1 million, please send it my way. I'll give you my info. Yeah,
God. People
you know,
just like
I love my
don't
ape
get it.
for real. I'm never. There's always a price for all my little cartoon guys. I mean, you know, so. But I do understand that it's tough because I only have one ape. I minted a couple, so I've sold some over time, unfortunately. So it's hard to have one. I mean, I'm so glad I have one, but it's hard to have one because you once you sell it, like that's it. So, but there's always a price, for sure.
There should be.
Thank you, Plunge. I appreciate that.
So I struggle mightily with people that like are just diamond hands and like they're outwardly so like diamond hands, and then they wrap themselves into the trap of people are going to think I'm a fraud if I sell this thing, and they're not thinking, right? They're not thinking because they've put out this public like edict and persona, and like this is my stance on this. And when the math changes, or your situation changes, or hey, I don't think this is going to go to the moon as much as it went to the moon before, because super good example. And here's a question, right? So cool cats, right? They're flying. Andrew Wang has a 300 ETH bid on his upside down cat right now. Is it more likely that his 300 ETH cat goes to 600 ETH, or if he sold that for 300 ETH and bought 30 10 ETH floor cats, would it be more likely that those went to 20 ETH?
I'm with you, and I'm totally with you.
It's just so hard because
people get attached.
People do get attached a little bit. Get attached.
See, for me, I voluntarily live in one of the most expensive areas in the country because I like it here, right? But that comes with costs, and of course, like a lot of us, like I have student loan debt, right? And so there's a lot of things in my life that I would like money for. So I'm working with a crypto or an NFT accountant to try and figure out like how what I can do with my NFTs that I have now to achieve some of those goals that I have that will allow me to keep like thriving in this space, but also like get rid of some of my like in real life problems. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
and it's hard. And I think Swicky, you probably feel this as well, like with Kiki, right? Like you're attached to her and like she is a part of who you are, right? In the space, right? To an extent, like an outward avatar of like your representation. But like there is something that like there's going to be another project. Like this isn't the only project. Like there's going to, and if you are here and you're involved and you're continuing forward, there are going to be more things like this. And I like, I would sell the naming rights to my firstborn for $900,000. Like there's like, but what I'm getting at is that like, there's not like, whether it's your ape or the cool cat or whatever, right? Like there's nothing that's worth $1 million in terms of cred. Like it's not a status. Like there's so many other ways to do that.
Not to interrupt you, Swicky, but Swicky's situation is a little different than mine because she does have like Punk's comic coming and things like that. So like the timetable for her is like different, right? Sorry, Swicky, go ahead.
No, you're totally right. I mean, for me, it's like, this is unfinished business for me. Like, I'm not just going to go out and sell my ape because, first of all, I don't know what's coming with Punk's comics. Like, we don't know what they have in store. There could be a lot of things that I don't know yet, in terms of like they've got a lot more money now than they did the first issue. And the apes are such a big brand, bigger brand than they even were when we voted on them. Like what stops people from thinking that it's just going to be a comic? Like, what if there's like more to it? I don't even know the answer to this, but I'm thinking ahead of that, right? So for me, it's like I could sell my ape now, but if I'm looking at her in a year and I see that somebody has taken her the distance what I started, that would just make me really sad. Not just like on a sentimental level, but like, goddamn, like I could have probably sold her for way more.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, I'm not just looking to cash out, but I'm looking to like create something out of it and then really get the cash out because I've earned it, And so I have a lot to wait before I can even consider that as far as I'm concerned, because I've already started the ball rolling on a lot of things.
Yeah. And I mean, talking with Jenkins earlier, there's some of that too, right? Where it's like, okay, it's not just a JPEG that you have, right? And I know that that's the cliche thing, and it's not that corporate trash, like it's not that you're not doing those things. Like it's just a different level, and I get that, and it makes total sense. And I know that Andrew, and I don't mean to disparage him in any way, but like, and I know that that's a huge part of his identity, but he flips his profile picture like constantly, and it's not so like people will know who he is independent of whether or not he has upside down cat. So it's one of those things, and maybe he's got a bunch of stuff in the works that we don't know about, but it's hard for me as someone who doesn't own something that's like, hey, this is a quadrillion-dollar thing, and I don't have to make those choices. Easy to armchair quarterback it, but man, it's so hard to look at and watch.
I kind of feel like if I like sell my ape one day and get rid of my profile picture, because this is like my profile picture like around like NFT space, I'm just gonna have to put my real face up and just like dox myself because there's really no other option. It's like either this or me, you know? Like,
I mean,
so
or you could buy the next project, like, or you know, anything. I don't know. You could.
I think you have some liquidity if you sell that.
Yeah, you
ape.
can do a bunch of stuff. Maybe you get
no,
something
because
from
I would,
Artblocks.
I would probably just cash it all out and save part of it for taxes. So
yeah, 30 plus percent if you're
yeah,
in.
exactly.
It's like 35 or
Probably
there's a couple
35.
tax. Yeah, it's a couple different tax brackets, but anyway,
Hey,
for everybody
let me
out
say
there,
this because, man, we've got women on the stage. We got lots of women in the comments, which I love. And I actually lined this up so that, so this project, the We Are Elven project that's scrolling through the bottom, I don't know if you guys know this, but this is a now 13-year-old who created this project, female 13-year-old. I had her on the show a couple days back. I put it on Sunday, and she was actually 12. Today's her birthday, and she's literally started minting today, and she's gonna give away 3 Elvens. So while we're talking, and I lined it up because I'm like, man, we don't have enough females in this space, so it's like that's amazing that we'll have some female giveaways while we're having a conversation with females in the space. So, guys, while we're at this, go right now and smash the damn comments, and we'll go with Elven 1 because there's 3 of these. So ELVEN 1. Smash the comments, and I'll roll the dice in a bit, and we'll keep our conversation going, and then we'll do number 2 and number 3. And sorry to interrupt. And did you know about this, like, phenom young lady?
I think somebody sent it to me, yes, but I didn't take a hard look because I've been really deep into like all the NFT stuff that I'm doing lately. So, but I do remember seeing one of her pieces, and it was like really, really great artwork. She's very talented.
Yeah, and if you've, oh my God, like if you watch the video, it goes well beyond her art. She's actually like such a mature woman. Like I couldn't believe like the conversation that I'm literally having with her. Just a very honest and raw conversation. And I'm telling you guys right now, 3-4 years down the road, she's gonna be a legend in this space.
She probably will sooner because, you know, like a week works like a year. So.
That's right.
I mean,
you're so right. 3-4 years.
She's gonna
like
pass you in followers in like 2 weeks. Crypto.
I would be happy. I would be happy
No.
if she like passed all of us in followers. You know, because
I have a confession to make actually on this stream right now.
Oh
I have been looking at your followers and mine, and I've been trying to overtake you. And once I did, and then once you posted that damn mural, you passed me, and I'm never going to catch you again. So I'm really salty about it. And I just
don't even know how
you
many
just need
I
to do
have.
you just need to do a like, follow, retweet giveaway for something that's like not even that expensive, and you'll crush it.
I can't do that anymore. I can't do it.
Oh, I know, they're so brutal. It's funny. So so CryptoPapi, someone I've been like long friends with the NFT space, the Dogepound project just had a derivative project called D's Nuts, which is hilarious.
Oh, God, I saw
and
that.
they reached out. They were like, hey, because I gave away a bunch of Dogepound stuff back in the day. And they were like, do you want to give some of these away? I was like, hell yeah, I would love to. Anything to help you guys. This is awesome. And like, that's the type of thing that like you see all these projects and it's like, you must retweet, you must follow, you must join the Discord. And the one that I put out there was like, just put something in the comments. Like, please don't retweet this. I don't need anything else. You don't have to do anything else. And it gets like good engagement. Like, I understand why, but oh man, I cringe thinking back to like my early Twitter following stuff where it was like, I have 2,000 followers, like, follow, retweet, and tag 3 friends. Like, oh, it's so hard
the problem
to do.
is with the likes. I tried doing a giveaway with just likes, but then Twitter only counts like a certain number of them. This is so boring. But so you have to like do retweets or it doesn't work, and that's really annoying. So I just don't do that anymore. It's like too much.
Anyway, that's my story.
Anyway.
that's my story. Like I just realized how boring that was, and then you
So boring.
told me how boring it was. And I was like, oh yeah, that was a dumb story.
Yeah.
Well, didn't we all like kind of start Twitter to like, win giveaways or like,
Basically.
that's why I started my Twitter.
Yeah,
I've been on Twitter for like 13 or 14 years on my personal account. And
I think that was like 2010, so like 11 years or something.
Yeah, and so I started this one because I was like, well, I don't want to bother all my friends with my like
Right.
NFT retweets, and it's just kind of accidental. But that's because we were here at that particular time,
We were.
So
I like that.
Exposed.
Someday if we're all cool with it, I mean someday somebody's gonna dox me and I won't have a choice. We can all show our personal Twitter accounts and how many followers we have over there.
I have like 200 followers on my real one. Like nothing.
I have way less than that. Probably like 20.
Yeah.
I never used to tweet.
No, I was a lurker.
Swicky,
I
you
was a
just
lurker.
if I'm not mistaken, did you just release some more Moonbeams recently?
I released Moonbeams, but then I released something on Foundation for the first time. So it went up for bid, which was really scary for me.
Oh,
and there were 4 bidders.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah. Here, I'll send you
I
the
saw
link
it,
in
but
the
I didn't
private.
bid.
Oh my god, I
Why?
missed that. I
was-
this
I
whole
was
thing,
ETH poor at
guys.
the time.
3 more sleeps and I can
It's
just do this
X-rated.
full-time.
No.
It's not X-rated.
Well, it wouldn't let me post it in the Wade's
It's
Discord.
PG-13. It's PG-13.
Wait, what?
But yeah, it wouldn't let me post in the like
Switchy
show
After Dark.
section. It was like this is R-rated, and I was really confused. I was like, what? But anyway, so I sent it to you in the private chat. But basically 4 people bid on it, and I didn't know 2 of the wallets. So
Oh, yeah. I know what you mean. Got some cheats.
He was
on it.
hoping for more. I was looking at Plunge's face.
No, I said
'cause
no. I was like,
let's see what
wait,
he's-
no, because I saw it. I saw it in
Oh,
the
okay.
Discord that we're in, and I was like, wait, that was X-rated? No, I get it.
well,
That's
no, but it's they considered it X-rated. But anyway, so I had my first bids on Foundation, and it was really scary. And I'm such an idiot. I put it up at like 4:30 in the morning or something like that. So then I had to wait till 4:30 in the morning the next morning to see who won. And I was like, this was not planned well.
That's funny.
But I was really
So-
happy. Yeah.
So I'm so curious. What was this, some kind of lucid dream too?
No,
Wow,
that is not a
exposed.
lucid dream. So I used to read poetry out on the Venice Strand because it's considered like free speech. So I literally used to put a milk crate up, and me and my friend used to read, and some of it was a little bit like provocative. But sometimes like we'd get hecklers, but I would always have hecklers actually just stop heckling and then like sit through the rest of it. So these are the poems that I used, and there will be more, and there will also be, drawings
Okay,
to
so
go
what
with
am I
it.
looking at? So, and sorry to cover.
What do you think you're looking
Sorry
at?
to cover some of you, but this is the software and what it lets me do. Like, I don't think I can reorganize this, can I?
I don't know, but
No, I can't.
I
So-
really hope nobody else is on this stream that is underage. That's all I care about right now.
It's 12:45.
It's no
It's
nipple.
Swiggy
Okay.
After Dark.
This is
It's all
Swiki-
good.
It's sad.
Okay.
Swiki After Dark. It's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Well,
YouTube
anyway,
is the one you got to worry about. YouTube taking
It
down.
has a poem with it, and the person who bought it said that the reason why they decided to do the last bid is because they really liked ending of that poem. So I'll just leave you.
Oh,
with
is
that.
it like unlockable content?
No, you
No,
can see it.
it's straight.
Oh,
It's
you can
straight
see it.
on there. Yeah,
Okay.
Do
but
you want
I
me to
just
do a
decided to-
dramatic reading of it?
you
Yes.
can do. Yes, I would really like that.
All right, so put up the picture. Hold on, let me press.
I don't know if I want Plunge or Swicky doing this.
Plunge has to
Swiggy,
do
if
it.
you would like to do it.
Plunge. I would really love it if Plunge
All right,
read
let's
it
hear Plunge's
dramatically.
version of this.
Yes.
I need to see the picture because it's paired. So there we go. Okay. Bending back to light, curves, ripples, lines, textures. Soften the edges of your body. And we turn bright in the big, bad dark.
go.
Excellent. Wow. I think
You
you're gonna
know-
have to read my poems from now on forever.
That was like you've got. I know you've got experience calling those 188 numbers at like 1 o'clock in the morning. I could tell.
So I took an acting class in college, and one of the assignments that we had to do was like a monologue thing, and I chose a slam poem, and it was probably my favorite thing in the entire world that I ever had to rehearse for.
Do you still have it memorized?
I can
Just
do
curious.
like 80 or 90% of it probably.
Maybe that'll be an NFT one day.
It starts, can I offer you a penny for your thoughts? You probably heard it.
Compelling.
Yeah. Gemini.
I'm sorry, I just woke up.
Look it up.
What was going on? Okay.
No, I can't do it right
Just
now, but
kidding.
it was provocative. I can't do it.
Oh, okay.
It's very sexual. Let's put it that
Okay.
Yikes.
way.
All
We
right.
all of a sudden got a few more people on the stream, by the way.
The stream's blowing up now.
As a matter
Well, anyway,
of fact, how
that's-
about 3?
That's my foray into foundation. So
Congrats.
you can
Nice.
Congrats.
So when can we expect
How
the
much
next
did
one?
it sell for? What was the highest bid? I
0.8.
don't think.
0.8.
Okay, I missed that.
Yeah.
Colin
0.8.
got it.
Anyway.
Yeah. So
And how
maybe
are
next
your,
time, Poppy, we'll do the slam poem. I'll have to rehearse.
I think that was pretty good.
We'll get there.
I might give you a
Swicky, if
call
you ever
later
need a
on, bro.
dramatic reading,
Yes,
and
I will call you first.
yeah, let me know. Let me know, assuming that you don't want to do it.
Right. CT might
Plunge.
want to do it.
Plunge, you're also a stand-up comedian because you tell amazing puns about bread. There was a bread NFT. Everyone on the stream?
Breadheads.
Breadheads. Some horrifying NFT. I'm so sorry, whoever made breadheads. They're like literally photos of baguettes with like, sorry, I'm like delirious. They're like, there's like mustaches on them and stuff. And so like we were talking about it in Discord, and Plunge just went crazy with the bread puns, and he could not stop. It was like a switch, and it
He
was
wins.
so funny. It was so funny.
He wins at puns.
He does.
I love this. Oh my god. Oh, Steph,
Girl.
you're killing me.
I made that was my first big NFT sale. I minted a like whatever the
You showed
Genesis
those
one.
things so hard. It was hilarious.
It was so
You
fun.
did.
It was so fun.
Were you getting
I had-
kickbacks from them?
No, not at all. Dude, I don't get paid for anything. I never take money from anyone. Like I just if I find something that like makes me laugh, then I will promote it and be like, this is awesome and I think it's funny and you should think it's funny. Like that's sort of my vibe. So
You were just really pumping those. I guess no pun intended. You were really going for those.
because I thought it was hilarious. I was like, if I can get a bunch of people to like mint these things, like so they have them in their wallets, just so like I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't
Well,
know.
I'm actually really curious because I haven't heard of them in a while. Whatever happened with them?
They pumped
they still
again
doing well?
because someone else got a hold of him. Farouk, the Cool Cats guy, got a hold of him like a month ago and was like, "Oh, these are funny." And I was like, "Check my tweets from May. Yeah, they were really funny back then."
They were actually cute.
Yeah, they're little voxel things. Hold on, let me look at.
Yeah, there were
With
some
the
pretty gnarly
floors.
ones that went for pretty high. Like they
Yeah.
were selling for a lot.
The floor is 0.06 for anybody that's curious.
So time to buy back in. Just kidding.
Yeah, I'd say not great, but they went up higher than that, didn't they?
Yeah, they pumped up to like 0.2 at one point, I think.
The plunge factor.
Yeah.
Yep.
I agree, Steph. They're spicy, but they're funny. And the reason that I didn't mint them initially is because they had a bonding curve.
Yes.
And I was like,
Yes.
I'm not gonna jump in on this. And then they took it away. That was the whole gist, was like I figured out later on, I saw that they got rid of the bonding curve. And I was like, oh, let's go. I'm in on this. And I agree, Top Shotta. That was like it should have been 0.069. That was a
wild.
missed opportunity.
That's wild that NFTs, so many of them used to have that bonding curve.
Yeah. It's I think actually with it might be a way, and I think Shocker Man Dan, a guy from the Alphabetties, put this out there on Twitter the other day that like it might be time to go back to some of this. Like I think the bonding curve stuff in if done correctly and not as steeply, it can mitigate some of the gas war problems that we're seeing to some degree. In the same way, it's basically like the inverse of a Dutch auction, right? Like, instead of starting out, it's like, okay, you reward the people that got in really early and found it with lower cost, and then like as more attention is drawn to it, and thus bondage curve, there you go. So I'm not sold on that.
That's funny.
Anyway.
Well played, Chris. Well played.
I need to go to bed. I just realized it's
Same.
almost midnight.
Well,
Guys,
thanks for
what
reading
we
my
got
sexy
left?
poem.
What do we got left? We got giveaways to do.
That was awesome, man.
I can
That
give
was
away
We
like,
have
these
two
nuts.
giveaways and one explanation. You
Oh.
still have to explain why you have not been able to pump qubits.
I'm trying. I think it's the perfect beginner NFT. Perfect.
And by the way, you could consider that a bonding curve, because what they did was they got us to mint, because the first 2,000 mints were basically going to be, we're going to get an airdrop, and nobody else was going to get an airdrop. So we FOMO'd in, we bought, and then they didn't sell past.
I didn't
that.
FOMO in at all. I
I
jumped
FOMO'd
in with conviction because I thought they were fucking sick. And I still think they're sick. And I still think their dev team is crushing it. And they're doing a lot of work, but they just don't have any attention. It's so frustrating.
Do Swicky or CT have any qubits? I'm curious.
I do not.
You do not. Okay,
Why
so
not?
why? Let's
I
we
don't
have our
know.
audience right here.
I'm too
Why have
busy-
you not bought qubits?
because I'm
I
too
have
busy
no
minting
idea.
trash. Like, I don't know. What did I buy today? I bought like bears. I bought seals. I bought like these toads. I
Okay,
don't know
but
what
those
I'm
all
buying.
did well,
but
I think.
yeah, I don't know.
All of
It's
those
too
did
much.
well, as far as I know.
I see people talking about them all the time, but I have no idea what they are.
Same.
They're like cute little Funko Poppy things. They're deflationary. By the time we sell them out, they're going to build something that you can morph two into one and keep traits from one and the other. Kind of what
But like, what's the floor now?
0.02.
We
And
don't
you
want to
can mint
tell
them for
you.
0.025.
That's a great deal.
I'm
That's all I
good.
can say.
Odd. I don't know why I don't have one.
They're super cute.
I'm gonna buy a
There's, like,
comma gang instead. Actually,
There you go.
it's so crazy how some people, oh my god, somebody's asking about Pix puppies. They're so
Pix
dead.
puppies,
But
make it happen.
yes, Pix puppies are dead. But it's crazy how like you see teams actually building and creating value, and they can't get traction, and then other teams that they just whatever, I don't know. It's like they literally put words on a screen and boom, it's over. I don't know. That's why,
Steph,
I
by the
never
way,
take
Steph,
advice
you
to
said
people.
I
Don't
had to-
buy FOMO. I'm like, what do you mean don't buy FOMO? It's like it works too. It's part of the process.
Yeah, what is any of this shit though, right, Megan? so true.
That's the truth.
That's the truth.
Yeah, I mean the reality is if qubits go up, I'm going to sell them. So
They're not gonna go up.
That was the most
worry.
conviction I've heard from you in a while.
I'm not selling mine because I'm gonna morph. I'm gonna take all the rare traits and make them all like I'm gonna morph them into like super rare shit.
God bless.
Anyway,
Gosh.
I can't pump qubits anymore.
I'm
needs
so
to
tired.
self-pump.
I gotta go to bed.
Yeah, we
too.
gotta go.
ladies, absolute pleasure to talk to
Yeah,
you.
no
I
blast,
hope
guys.
your country lets me into your country.
Me
I
too.
really hope so.
Me too.
Or we're gonna have to
Same
start
juice.
some like online petition to let me into the country. Because
Can we like write them a letter or something? Can we just all write them a letter?
yes, CryptoPapi needs to be in New York.
Yes.
You know what? If I make it, we're all gonna do our thing and party and be responsible. And I don't know,
Right.
Are we?
listen to the content.
Right.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. This was super fun.
Corporate
Yeah.
trash. I am so glad I found out you're a woman. Like,
She's amazing. I
Can
love
you
her.
believe?
Oh my gosh.
If I were a man, I would have already like proposed to her and married her already.
Aren't you married?
That's true.
No.
I am married. I said if I wasn't.
Yeah, I think. Oh, okay.
Thank you? Question mark.
All right. I gotta
all right,
go
guys.
to bed.
You
We'll
guys go
talk
to
later,
bed.
guys.
Thank you, everybody, for
Good night.
Yeah, it was
being
a
here.
blast.
Thank you, everybody, for listening in. Oh, wait, I got 2 giveaways. You guys can drop off.
All
I'm
right,
going to
I'll
roll
see you
the
later.
dice on 2
Bye,
giveaways
Plunge.
right now. You guys do your thing. All right. I'm going to roll right now. Everybody, Elven 2. ELVEN 2. Okay. We're going to roll it. Let's go. Let's go. Hit it up. Hit up. There's still quite a few of you in the comments. I can see you. Hit it up. I'm going to give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, Super Vintage. Oh, I love that name. Super Vintage. I don't know what WHSE is. You're going to have to explain yourself. And hit me up in the DMs, and I'll hook you up with the Elven team, and we will get you that giveaway. And one more, guys. One more. Elven 3 that we're going to give away right now. Elven 3. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rolling the dice. All right, Fred. I think you're the Fred in Squanchland. You win. Oh, it has an update in the comments, but you win. Hit me up. I will hook you up with the I'll make sure you get the giveaway from the team. Why is Nightbot faster than Papi? Oh, you know what? I don't know. Maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe I'm seeing it on delay, or maybe I'm just a little drunk because I've been drinking all night and celebrating. Guys, I can't believe there's still like that many of you in the comments. Like, man, I Elvin 4, Elvin 5. Oh, I love it. You guys are making me laugh. Oh my God, what a night it's been, guys. Thank you so much. I love it. I love everybody that's been in the comments. Trust me, I've noticed. I hope we had a good show for you tonight. The apes, that's it. We made our day. We made our day in Christie's, and I hope tomorrow brings a good day for all of NFTs. Plunge's Wi-Fi is fun. Okay, so it's not me, right? It wasn't just me noticing Plunge going pixelated every 2 minutes. All right, guys. I love you all. You know what? In 3 days, 3 more sleeps. I basically just have to sleep 3 more times, like as if it was the 21st of December, and I will never work again a day in my life unless I want to work. And that's really like the insane part about it is on October 1st, on Friday morning, I'm going to wake up and my only responsibility is to Twitter. So I don't know what's going to happen. I'm not responsible for whatever happens. Love you all, guys. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll do this again sometimes. Have a good night. Checking out. Peace.